What's up, meatbags? It is the often imitated, never duplicated king of the freaks and the frog lord of the geeks, Tony TGD, joined once again by Gary, the obsessive compulsive gamer. What you heard there was Tommy Uyamiko's Geek Getaway theme song, the best song on YouTube, hands down. Tonight we got a big show, really, really big show. It is the apology episode because we got so much to apologize for. We're going to be talking about the FTC cracking down on influencers. We're going to talk about supporting others on YouTube, what it means, what it should mean, how we feel about it. Obviously, we're going to go over some poll results. We had some polls this week. We're going to talk about Fall Guys going free to play, our thoughts on that. We're going to give our thoughts on the She-Hulk trailer. We're going to watch it because I got my Ethernet cable all hooked up, so we'll be able to watch that in smooth 60 FPS. We're going to talk about Elden Ring. Elden Ring's map has been getting changes, and we're going to discuss that. And, of course, Blizzard getting sued for selling Hearthstone card packs to minors. But before we get into all that delicious news, gossip, and all that other stuff, Gary, how has your week been?
Oh, my week's been fantastic. I've been chipping away at the old art animation and possibly here in the near future, probably going to have some information on maybe some projects that could be coming out. So good stuff. And then apparently I got super drunk yesterday and was streaming, I guess. That's what they tell me anyways.
Well, you did post on Twitter, come join you for a live stream. And there was no live stream.
Yeah, it was about like 6 or 7 minutes. I gave up. Nobody joined. I figured after days, this was literally like minutes, like 5 to 10 minutes after Day's stream went out, and I figured I could get everybody rounded up and in the live stream, but it didn't quite work out. I didn't link it. I couldn't figure that out. My YouTube streaming thing started working all of a sudden, so I was like, oh, cool. Maybe I'll go on a stream and get some people in, and it didn't happen. So then we went to Coney Island to eat. So that was what it was.
We'll pull up the tweet just so everybody can see what we're talking about. In case you don't follow Gary on Twitter, if you're not one of the, how many people is it? 21 people following Gary on Twitter. It says, join me downtown in the D Live on YouTube, fuckers. Amigos forever. So I think this is where you confuse people, Gary, because D Live is actually a service, much like Twitch and stuff. So were you on D Live or were you on YouTube? So
no, on YouTube. On YouTube in Detroit.
Well, you should put in Detroit.
We call it the D. We don't call it Detroit.
You said in the D. I was confused. I thought maybe we're going to see some Gary unpants.
Some X-rated stuff.
Like, yeah, he's drunk with it. He's rocking out with his cock out. But I did try to at least watch this stream or whatever it was that went on for 5 seconds until Gary turned it off. So as you can see, we don't have Blinded Braille here. We don't have Ninja Kitty. And we're not being joined by Dazed Gaming. Dazed, unfortunately, has to babysit. Apparently he has like a family or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
Ninja Kitty is still tending to the wife who injured herself, kicking him in the ass. She tried to move. See, what happened was Ninja Kitty had rolled over. He's 500 pounds, so he had rolled over, and he was suffocating himself with his fat folds. So the old lady had to kick him in order to get the fat to move, and in the process, it hurt her ankle. So Ninja Kitty, unfortunately, has to make sure that she's being taken care of. And as far as Blinded Braille, apparently he got a job or something. I don't know. And so he won't be joining us for this week and maybe next week as he's taking care of something for someone else. He's abandoned us for like money. It's all about the money with it.
I thought we were told a long time ago that we all didn't have lives.
We don't. Unfortunately, I'm the only one without a life. That's why I'm here every Saturday, spending time with all of yous. But with that said, let me tell you how my week has been, Gary, because my week has been fucking fantastic. Work has picked up, which means I will now no longer have Fridays off. I'll no longer be getting out early. I actually have to work 11 hours a day, 6 days a week, which is going to be great. I just fucking love that.
Well, you'd be bringing home that money. There's nothing wrong with that.
Uh, Additionally, uh, they're cracking down at my work about using phones, so I can't even use the time at work to look things up for the show and other things like that. So it's going to
Oh
really
God,
put a damper.
when I worked for Amazon, man, they wouldn't even let you take they wouldn't even let you take your phone past the like you had a little locker room off to like when you first walked in, and you had to store everything. And then if they caught you past the line with your phone, it was like a write up and like 2 write-ups and you were fired.
Well, we have a similar system where we're not supposed to take our phones into, but because it's me, they usually give me leeway. They don't say nothing, but apparently other people have been complaining. You know how it is. You get jealous people at work, snitches. So they basically asked me, my boss, the big boss, was like, hey, could you just leave it in the locker? We don't want other people to get upset because we don't let them use their phones. So my time of actually looking things up is going to be limited. So it's going to really put a damper on all the things I'm trying to do here.
I guess I'm gonna have to put in some extra work, huh, Tony? That's what you're telling me.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm going to have to lean in on all you guys. Beyond that, nothing really has been going on. Sidekick Max, we spent like 4 hours trying to do some physics homework. So that shit was impossible, and we didn't even get it finished. Uh, Other than that, I mean, like I said, I got the new Ethernet cable. It's all hooked up. Everything should be streaming real nice. Uh, if I don't forget to actually hit the banners like I did for this whole intro, then maybe the show will be running smoothly.
And I apologize just for now. You guys are probably gonna hear the kids screaming. The old lady's sleeping in the room right now. She had a nap. We had a long day, so I kind of am stuck out here in the living room with the 2 kids playing Xbox in the other room screaming. So I apologize in advance.
The kids screaming is probably a lot better than the constant beeping from the fire alarm. Or not fire alarm, but the fire smoke detector. That's the fucking.
There you go. Yeah, that was solved a while back.
Yeah. My brain has been really foggy. I don't know. I think it's the heat. So I think that's all we got to say about that. You know, the week's been pretty rough. Got things to work on. Got more work to do. Apparently, people are taking pot shots at us again, as always. You know, jealously. But the numbers keep going up. The subscriber count keeps climbing. The viewers keep coming in day after day, week after week. Sometimes I'm confused as to why people want to watch us, but I appreciate it.
You know, the funny thing is I get trickle numbers. Like I don't get big numbers, but I notice like, you know, every couple of weeks I'll get 1 or 2, and I don't post shit.
It's all the people I'm sending to your channel here.
They must have liked my cotton review.
They must have. We did get a couple more review copies of games, so we're going to be going over those in the upcoming weeks, days. So we got big things planned. And I think that's it for the intro. I mean, fucking Days Gaming, Ninja Kitty, all you guys left us hanging. Sit here trying to fill in this airtime. Gary's kids are running wild.
Yeah, the world is burning.
The world is burning. But we got Art Bell, Bomberny TV, 1-inch biceps, just another viewer. E King, MIDI music, Stream Element spots, my favorite.
What's going on, fellas?
Tommy Miko's here. Michael Z. And for everybody that's just lurking, everybody who's not actually making a comment, we still appreciate you guys. We still love you for viewing the show, for watching us, for putting up with us and all the bullshit that we go through.
We know a few of them lurkers, don't we, Tony? We know who they are.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Zinc and Fox? So we get new names every once in a while. Art Bell says, we are tapping arms over here. Withdrawals giving us the shakes. Never tell Kid Max about Sad Max. Oh, he knows all about Mad Max movies. He knows. The YouTuber who puts 6 forceful guests on at once over talking nightmare streams. Yeah, I think we do that a little better. We were a little rough at the beginning, right? I got to admit. When we first started and we started having a lot of guests on, we were a little rough. We couldn't control it. And every once in a while, it gets out of hand. I got to, give everybody the whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 guys. Calm down. But I think we handle it pretty well. What do you think, Gary? Do you think we do a good job?
Oh, yeah, I think we do a great job.
And to our credit, we're doing it while not seeing each other's faces. So I don't know when Gary's going to actually talk or stop talking. I don't get those visual cues, so it's all audio. That's why we got a lot of dead air like that, because none of us know when to jump in.
Anytime I mute my mic, I'm probably over here beating the kids.
Lovely, lovely. And I'm sure Gary's kids are fine gentlemen. There's fine gentlemen on both sides. Mini Music says you have a mute button, though. You can make him stop talking. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't like using the mute button. I don't like abusing that privilege. Because especially when people are getting heated or they're in the middle of something. And usually it's 2 people yelling. So then I would have to choose who to mute first. And then whoever I mute first is going to get pissed that they got muted before the other one.
Well, I'm usually muting myself all the time.
No,
like you can mute.
He's saying like when they're talking over each other, when we're like having an argument. You could do a 10% better job. I don't think so. I don't think we could ever do better. This is the best we got. What you see here is the best you're ever going to get. So if you're ever expecting something better from this show or from this channel, please stop, because you're going to be disappointed. No, but I think we are going to, we're slowly but surely improving. We're not the greatest. We have lives. We have other things. We're not really banking on becoming YouTube celebrities or stars. It's just a fun little hobby. We do enjoy the attention and all the praise and the hundreds and hundreds of dollars that I get every month from your Stream Elements super chats. I appreciate that. No, Gary, you can't have a cut.
Oh. Well, at least I get to talk about video games. That's why I'm here.
Oh, he said 10% chance of doing a better job. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think the first thing we're gonna jump into, it's a little fun topic, but I think it's something we really should discuss, and it's something that Gary is very passionate about. So it seems that the playdate has been pushed back, at least the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th batches of playdates. So we're going to discuss that. I'm going to remind you to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel, because it always makes me feel good. So Gary, what is going on here with playdate? You're the playdate.
So yesterday, I believe it was yesterday. I frequent Reddit when I'm just looking for new topics or whatever about the playdate, or to see who has received theirs, what order number they're at.
It was 3 days ago, Gary.
3 days ago, and a topic came up that Panic Silently has kind of pushed back a little bit. Now, anybody familiar with what's been going on, groups 1 and 2 were supposed to get their units early 2022. It's May now. A lot of people were kind of upset from the get-go, because a lot of people kind of conflated or thought that early meant quarter one. I guess that's kind of an easy mistake that a lot of people made. So people were expecting to get their units by March, April, early May, and they've been slowly rolling out since I think at the end of April or mid-April. A Reddit user had found that hold on, give me 1 second.
So Gary's saying that people were expecting that early 2022 meant quarter one, but if quarters are divided by 4, you got 4 quarters, whereas early, mid, and late is divided by 3, which is 4-month periods versus 3-month periods of quarters. So anybody who thought that this was coming in March is probably confused on how numbers work. You back, Gary? Or
yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you said, but yeah. So basically, the gist of it was that that this was said that we were, groups 1 and 2 were going to get theirs early. They're close to being done with group 1. Group 2 here, however, was updated to mid to late, and nothing was said on Twitter about this. In fact, I believe the last thing that was really said was either this morning or yesterday about the hardware getting an update. So this is as much as we know, is that these were pushed slightly back, and a lot of us are kind of thinking that it's due to the rollout of Group 1, that they kind of want to get problems that arise from Group 1, things like the firmware and just small issues that they've been having, that they've been receiving from feedback in those early shipped units. So that could be the reason here that we're getting just slightly pushed back a little bit. We are, however, like at the very end of Group 1, so Group 2 should be close. Should be close to shipping.
So Gary, have you received a Playdate yet?
I have not. My order is 8,400 and some odd. They are very close. I believe they are around 8,000. So they're nearing the end of Group 1, and Group 2 should be shipping out soon. But before they do that, like what they did with Group 1, they sent everybody an email asking them to confirm their addresses just in case. And I have not received that email yet, but we are getting close.
Ooh. So as you can see from the screenshot we're showing here, it says Group 2, 10,000 to 20,000 thereabouts. It says mid to late 2022. This wasn't mentioned anywhere, like Gary said, on Twitter or anything like that. So rightly so, people were kind of upset. However, just for this episode, we were talking about this. That was why we were late. We were discussing this very segment. And what happened was we went to the Playdate website to verify this information. And what did we find, Gary, when we went there?
So it looks like it was updated once again, silently updated.
So now, as you can see on the screen, highlighted there, it says Group 2, 10,000 to 20,000 thereabouts, mid 2022. No longer mid to late, mid 2022. So let's see if they can keep this ship date, or if this is going to slip into late 2022 anyway. I think this is a dumb move, personally. If you already put it out there that it was going to be possibly late 2022, I would have just left it, because that gave you some wiggle room, right? If it does slip again, just a little bit. Whereas now you're committing to mid 2022. Now, if you slip, people are going to be pissed. You're going to have to piss people off twice when you can only have done it once.
Right. And I don't know if anybody as of yet, I think maybe somebody did catch it as we were kind of scrolling through Reddit, that they kind of updated it again. But it doesn't make any sense to me within just the few days, especially it's the weekend now. I mean, I guess. I mean, they would have had to done this yesterday, Friday. They might have updated it, but yeah, it's kind of stupid to go back and forth. And maybe they didn't mean to put late, but hopefully they got some information and maybe they'll share with us on Monday. Something, you know, maybe those, you know, second batch is coming in and you know, they're coming over in the containers and soon they'll be in the fulfillment center and who knows, but you know, I'm crossing my fingers and I'm hoping that at least I figured by the end of May I was going to get mine. I think I was off by a month. I really think that you know, maybe end of June, mid-July, I'll probably receive mine. You know, they haven't done the best job conveying what's going on, but I think they're trying to be safe here and not really piss too many people off. I'm still patiently waiting. I don't, you know, have any animosity towards Panic. I think what they've done so far is pretty good. They've only had one delay since they've taken my money. I mean, one big delay, but from everything that I hear, the numbers on the hardware errors and malfunctions and all that kind of stuff is in the 1% for what they've sent out so far. So that's pretty good. Obviously it could be more, you know, I don't think they're telling us everything, but you know, I got faith. You know, a lot of people are saying good things. You know, Ian came out with his review of the Playdate the other day and he was loving it. So I'm patiently waiting for mine.
So there it is. A Playdate review will be coming eventually from Gary. Hopefully they get these things out on time, and hopefully we don't have any more major issues with the Playdate. I know they had that battery issue. But I think that's all that needs to be said about that. You got anything else to add to this, Gary?
No, that was pretty much it. I don't think it's really that big of an issue. You know, these things take time.
It's a huge issue, and Playdate is now officially a scam. No, I'm just playing. We'll see, right? I don't think it's a scam. I don't think it's a big deal. I do think that probably there was some sort of error with putting in the late. They probably didn't mean it, just because they had retracted it so fast without any kind of word on it.
Well, I mean, way. I will say this: we can clear it up. This ain't no Intellivision, right? They do have at least 10,000, almost 10,000 units out in the wild, right? I mean, you can go and, granted, you can go on eBay right now and pay $400 or $500 for one if you really want one. But this is not an Amico. These are out in people's hands. People are enjoying them. There are ways to get them if you want to, you know, pay scalper prices, but they are out in people's hands. So yeah, it's the upside for them.
All right, I think that's it for that. Speaking of getting consoles, Sony is once again offering people to get into like a lottery, I guess you would call it, for the privilege of buying a PlayStation 5.
That's so bad.
So, you know, obviously I just contacted Sony like, hey, you know, we need another PlayStation 5 here at the crib. So hopefully they'll give me an email soon and we'll be able to pick another one up. And then maybe we'll give it away. Maybe we'll auction it off.
You know, I just don't understand why they can't do pre-orders. Like why can't they just do a pre-order like the Panic's doing and just fill them?
I think it'd be the same thing. They would just end up getting a bunch of scalpers pre-ordering.
Yeah, but you order one per household. I mean, there's got to be a legit way to do it. I mean, we're in 2022. There's got to be a legit way to do this and do it right, so that people can get, you know, how many have they shipped so far? Over, I mean, it's got to be over 1 million, right? I mean, we got a lot of units out in people's hands, but the fact that, you know, I mean, I understand there's a part shortage, but there's got to be a better way to get people who are still looking for a PlayStation 5 a unit in their hands. I know Xbox is, you know, Microsoft's having the same issues, and Nintendo hasn't had those big issues as those two other companies, but it's sad to see. You know, you want to see everybody kind of have one of these in their hands if they've wanted it for a long time. So
Yeah. Bomberny says he thinks it's like 15 millish. Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
I
that's a
think,
lot. Yeah, that's a lot. So
like I said, it's hard because you got all the scalpers and the resellers, and
right.
so
I
he
mean,
says
it was
17.3.
yeah. I mean, it was definitely a shit show out of the gate. There's no doubt about that. Like I'm sure probably a quarter of those are probably being scalped, or you know, some guy owns 1,000 to like 5,000 PlayStation 5s. There's no doubt that there's definitely an issue going around, and that really is it's part of the problem. But it sucks.
You know what? I was pissed. They had a thing. They sent me an email about the covers for the PlayStation 5.
Right.
They're like $50.
Yeah, they're expensive. Yep. Well,
It looks nice.
They started doing that because of that company, right? Wasn't there a company that they shot down? I believe Rich was talking about this company. There was, you know, a company who was doing covers themselves, and then they said, "Fuck that, we're gonna do it ourselves." Yeah, that to me is it blows my mind that people are paying. What do they have, like a magenta one? I think.
I'll show. I'm getting it up right now. Hold on.
I mean, they're nice, but for $50, man, that's.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of colors. It's like a baby blue one, magenta, a red, accessories. All right, here we go. I will put it up on the screen now. I had to get into my account. I didn't want you guys seeing what my password was. Not that I don't think that anybody here would actually do anything with it, because everybody in my audience is a fantastic person who doesn't do anything illegal.
Ooh, I like that purple.
I do like the baby blue. I like the baby blue Amico version myself. So we got black. What's this? Cosmic red. So midnight black, cosmic red, starlight blue. That's the one I like.
That's nice. Yeah, that's nice too.
Galactic purple.
And then purple. Yeah, both those are really good looking.
And I do like the pink, the Nova pink.
I mean, $50 a pop though. That's a wallet buster for just a different look.
And then you have to buy the controllers, the match, if you want to be real fancy. So it'd be like fucking $60 for the controllers, something like that. Yeah. What do the controllers cost?
$80. Yep, 75.
Yeah, oof.
Ouch.
74. The regular ones are 70. It's an extra $5 for the colors. Oh no, the black one is 69. The white one is 69. Yeah, then the colored ones.
Remember when controllers cost us like $30-$40? That was nice.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, to be fair, there is a lot of tech in these. The dual sense, like I said, the triggers, the haptic feedback, all the good stuff. Is it worth $70? Fuck no. Is it worth 75? Hell, fucking no. But
I mean, how much can you? 8-Bit Do, do they offer a alternative for like PlayStation 5 controllers?
I don't know. I never use third party. I'm not that kind of person. I know. I'm a sucker for official product.
Yeah, I agree.
I bought some third party PlayStation 3 controllers without looking. I just bought them from eBay, I think about like a year ago. And they don't have any motion control in them.
Ooh. Yeah, see, I wouldn't. I'd be too scared with anything that's like a Switch Joy-Con or PlayStation 5 controller. I think Xbox wise, you could probably find something comparable. But all the little tech and goodies in the PlayStation 5 controller, because it's got like touch and
I wouldn't. The touchpad, the haptic feedback, the lights.
I wouldn't trust the third party company with with making something comparable to that. So, I mean, if you want it, you got to pay the money. And I mean, if you're buying a PlayStation 5, it $75 really going to break the bank at that point? Probably not.
And it sucks because the whole reason that I bought the PlayStation 3 controllers was there's a rubber duck game. It's called Super Rubber Duck, right? Have you heard of this game?
I have not.
Okay, so it is I'll put it up on the screen. I'll get a little playthrough real quick. It's basically you got rubber duckies and you got to move them around like a bathtub into the drain, right? Real simple. But it uses the motion controls to tilt the drain, to tilt the tub rather, to get them to slide into the drain. Real simple game, real simple. Let me lower that, it's a little loud. So that's it. That's all you gotta do. Just tilt that, get them into the fucking drain.
Oh, so it's kind of like that old school marble game that we used to play with the wooden box.
Right. And then you could like shake the controller and that makes the whole thing like bounce. And there's enemies, and some of the levels got enemies that you gotta like knock over. And it's about, trying to get time, trying to get them all in.
Okay.
How's that video running? Is it running smooth, by the way?
Yeah, looks good.
So I was like, I wanted to play this game, right? Because it's a time waster. It's one of those little fun games. I was like, it's something fun. Plus, they got motion controls. I'm like, can't beat this. Then I got those controllers, and the motherfuckers don't have the motion control. Don't fucking work. Yeah, Bubbles. It's kind of like that game Bubbles, but with motion controls. So I was a little disappointed. So then I just bought a new official Sony PlayStation 3 controller through Amazon. And I think that was like $50.
And the bummer is that you never really catch these controllers on sale. That's the big thing.
Yeah, well, I think they're pretty much out of print. I think it's all like refurbished, second party, like GameStop through Amazon type shit.
Right.
But either way, it's coming. So you'll be seeing that on the channel. You'll be seeing me play that on live stream. Also, I figured out that I could actually start a private live stream on the PS5. Go to YouTube, share the YouTube screen from StreamYards. And so then we could all talk while I play games. So if we ever have a game night or something where we're playing games.
That ain't fun. You gotta build this.
Playing games on the PS5, we'd all be able to still be in chat, and everyone will be able to see us all, and it'll be all good. As soon as Gary gets himself a PlayStation 4 or 5.
Man, I just can't bring myself to get like I'm waiting for the big like gotta have a PS5 or Xbox Series X, like something big's got to come out for me to really invest into that. I just don't see the point right now. I'm having, my Switch takes care of all my needs. The games that come out, and I think just, I'm an indie guy, I like that kind of stuff. And yeah, you can get it on PS5 and all that, but I'm a Nintendo fanboy. What can I say? I like the content that they bring out.
I love my Switch. I love it. But just for some reason, I just don't play it. Like, my brain is so wired that as soon as I'm like, game time, PlayStation 5. And I look at the Switch, and it's right there sitting in front of me. I can see it from here. I just don't use it. Unless I got to review a game, and then I'm like, I got to fucking play the damn Switch. And I like playing it. It's not even, it's just a habit. Same thing with the Steam Deck. It's still in the same position that from when I recorded the video like a month ago. It's still sitting there next to my bed in the case. Unused, unloved.
Yeah, you have your go-tos. And I think it boils down to me being a handheld guy, that I just love having something like handheld just in my hands. and everybody can be doing what they're doing, watching TV or a movie. The kids can be playing a game in the other. I don't have to worry about nothing. And I love the OLED, man. I after I got that, I really am loving that, especially after playing Cotton Fantasy. Just the colors, man. It just looks so good. So, I mean, to each his own. There's nothing wrong, if you got your PlayStation 5, enjoy it. You got your Xbox, enjoy it. One day I'll be there. I'll get it. But
one
not
day he'll join the ranks of big boys.
When something good comes, when something puts me, to that point where I'm like, I cannot live without it. But then I'm going to have to get that. I got to get the 4K TV. I have to do a lot of upgrading around the.
Art Bell says give G4 TV's Frosk the link so she can call in and complain about too much testosterone in here. Hello, Leo Lag. How faster Tony? Low. I actually think she's kind of hot. She's kind of hot in a weird kind of way. I'm not afraid to admit that.
I mean, she's not an ugly looking woman. I think we already went over that.
Yeah, we did. She probably hates us for that. Like, these are the motherfuckers that said I was attractive. Anyway, I think we should move on to some more serious business. I don't know if you heard this, Gary, but Fall Guys is going free to play in June, June 21st, to be exact, on a Tuesday, which is kind of weird. But before we get into it, let me remind you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because it makes me feel so good. And of course, share this with all your friends, every single one. It's strangers on the bus. Just fucking tell them, hey, go to the Geek Getaway, watch this video on Fall Guys. It'll change your life. This is a life-changing video right here. But anyway, to get to it, this is coming from PC Gamer, the article here. Fall Guys goes free in June. Now, this was written by Rich Stanton, wrote it. Basically saying Fall Guys is going free to play on Tuesday, June 21st, as well as coming to the Epic Game Stores. It will be making its debut on various console platforms, which matters because the game will have cross-play and cross-progression across all of them. So this should be quite the second wind of players. After the Switch, Fall Guys will no longer be available to new players on Steam, but those who already own a Steam copy will continue to receive the same updates as Epic Store players. So if you haven't bought it on Steam, and if you're ever thinking that you might play it on Steam, I suggest you go buy it now. Because like they said, once it goes free to play, it will no longer be available to be purchased on Steam because it's going to be an Epic Store exclusive on PC. It says the free-to-play launch will come alongside a fresh start for its seasons, new in-game currency called Showbucks, and what developer Mediatonic calls major updates to the progression system. The new Season 1 is appropriately named Free For All and features a giant arena with new events and locations. Have you ever played Fall Guys, Gary?
I have not. I've only looked into it a little bit. It looks a little interesting, but it's not something I've downloaded or played yet.
I believe I have it free on the PlayStation, part of the PlayStation Plus lineup of games they gave you. Never touched it, never played it. Was never really interested. I guess it feels like a streamer game, and I wasn't really a streamer at the time when we got it, so I was like, I didn't touch it. It says existing players will get a legacy pack when the free-to-play changes happen, which contain a bunch of cosmetics and the first season pass for free. The season pass is available to purchase for new players with Showbucks, and the existing free progression path and in-game currency Kudos will remain. Fall Guys was released in August 2020 and was a breakout success. It always felt like it was one of those games that benefited from lockdown in a big way. A bit slight, sure, but silly and colorful multiplayer fun with a joyous knockabout atmosphere. Its success led to developer Mediatonic acquisition by Epic Games, and since then it's followed a Fortnite light model of regular brand crossovers alongside new modes and seasons, and is clearly just getting started. Apparently, after acquiring Rocket League, Psyonix in 2019, Epic also moved the game to a free-to-play model. So this is basically, a pattern. Epic Games, buys a developer, takes their game, makes it free-to-play.
They have They have the monopoly on that kind of genre of gaming.
Yeah. Now, I know that there's some people who are very upset by this. They're like, "Oh, this is not right." People paid for it, and now it's going to be free to play. I think that's bullshit. First off, like even that reasoning, because games go on sale, right? No one's like, "Oh my god, why did I pay full price? It's not fair. I paid full price for this game, and now it's on sale." Like that shit happens all the time, right? Games be given away for free. Some people pay full price, and then 3 months later, it's free on PlayStation Plus or what else? The other one on Xbox, Game Pass, or whatever the fuck it is, right? So this whole idea that someone paid and now it's going free, I think that's stupid, right? This whole argument. Secondly, I do think it's kind of dumb that it's going Epic Store exclusive. However, I think it makes a little bit of sense that it's going free to play.
Well, I mean, this is an online only game, right? I mean, if the server shut off tomorrow, like your disc wouldn't be worth spit. So to me, it's not a huge deal. If this was something that was like had some single player and had some other things, then it still wouldn't make any sense. Like, I mean, it's an online only game, so anybody who is upset that they sunk in $30, $60, whatever it was, it's an online only game. So to me, it's a non-issue.
Yeah, it is an online only game. I don't think it's a big issue. And if we go to the Steam charts, or whatever the fuck they're called, what are they called? Steam charts. Yeah, they are. See, that's how much I don't even use Steam. I don't even know what the fuck the damn Steam charts are called, and they're called Steam charts. You can see in December 21, there was like 15,000 players. The all-time peak was 172,000 people playing the game. In the last 24 hours, the peak was only 11,197.
Now, was there a particular streamer that kind of set the trend for this game, or
I think there was a whole bunch of streamers.
Yeah, so
see right here in the average players in August of 2020 was 124,000 players, when it peaked at 172,000. Now we're talking average players just under 7,000 in the last 30 days. That's a huge fucking drop, right? People have moved on. You don't really hear about Fall Guys anymore. You don't really hear about people like, oh my god, playing Fall Guys. It hit its peak. It got all of its fucking fame, and then I think it's slowly over the last 2 years it's trickled back down to like normalcy. Not people don't really care anymore. So I think this free to play model is going to give it a little shot in the arm. It's going to try to infuse some new
boost
players.
Right.
So
I mean, they know what they're doing. They've handled the
Rocket League.
Rocket League and those games, Fortnite for a while. They know what they're doing. So
yeah, and like you see, like February 2022, peak players were only 9,000, just under 10,000. So these numbers were really good when it debuted, and then it just slowly fucking kept going down. Like I said, it was a big thing all over Twitch. Everybody was playing it. Everybody was having Fortnite or Fall Guy parties. Hey, we're all going to play Fall Guys. Part of the reason why I think it fell off was a lot of the communities that were doing this sort of Fall Guys thing, all the infighting on the YouTube communities and all that, people being mad at each other, no longer hanging out, no longer doing the Fall Guys thing. I don't know if PewDiePie was streaming Fall Guys, but he streams a lot less, so that could have some impact on it. Plus, Gary doesn't play Fall Guys because, it's not his cup of tea. And we all know that Gary has the greatest taste in games. But really, that's I think that's all that needs to be said about that. Fall Guys going free to play. I think it's a smart move. It's a good move. The player base has basically fallen off. This might reinvigorate it. And really, if not, I mean, what do they got to lose, right?
Right.
What's going on over there, Gary? What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything.
It sounds like you're like scratching, like.
Oh, he's over here rocking in the chair. That's probably what you're hearing. Squeaking.
Art Bell says, I expect this tweet to show up. Phil Adam needs to ask Phil Collins to invest in television. Mini Music says, reminder, Borderlands 3 is free on Epic Game Store for a few more hours.
Never played Borderlands 3.
I've never played the new one, though. I played the first two.
Yeah, 2 was great.
It's okay. It's a looter shooter.
See, the problem was the first game is great. The first game has better. I like the way that they did the items better. I thought the stats on your weapons were better, and then the second game they went and said, "Oh, we got billions and billions of weapons," when really it's kind of just the same. Well, basic skins, and then there's slight changes for every weapon, but then there's like tier lists. If they would have done the items like they did in the first game, but I think story wise, in the amount of content that was in the second game was fantastic. I don't quite think, I remember reading up on 3 and it didn't live up to the hype, and obviously Handsome Jack was like, just story wise, I think of 2 just blew everybody away, whereas 3, I guess the twins or the main characters of that game weren't as fleshed out, weren't as good. So
yeah, I think wasn't there like a pre-sequel too or something?
Yeah, I've only put a few hours into the pre-sequel. I was liking what I played because I had recently purchased it for the Switch. I enjoyed the few hours that I played, but it kind of just dabbles more into those characters, and still not as I liked 2. I liked 2 quite a bit, and I haven't. What's the other game they got of the Tiny Tina? Isn't that like a standalone game?
There is 2. There's the Tiny Tina's. It was a DLC that turned into like a standalone one shot, and then there's the new Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which is basically just it's Borderlands, but like with a D&D.
Right.
Aesthetic.
What was like the DLC that they released, the Dragon Keep, or I can't remember what it was called.
But that's what I'm saying. Dragon Keep turned into its own standalone, like a one shot.
Oh, okay, that's what that was probably the best DLC for Borderlands 2, and that's basically what they turned it into, because that, like, she was one of the fan favorite characters, so it's a no-brainer.
I think the classes were better in the first Borderlands 2 than in the second. Like just the different character classes or whatever, their abilities.
Right.
I wish there was a build a character, like you can mix and match, but sadly, no. What's going on over there? Who's dying?
I have no idea. He's over here playing Skylanders.
Fucking Sidekick Max used to love Skylanders. I think we have a whole bag full of Skylanders shit. Bomberny says the Siren in Borderlands 1 was way overpowered. Yeah.
See, I'm a big fan of the Necromancer in 2. I like Gage.
I need to show you something.
Potter Toastman says Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I'm keen to give it a go. Yeah, I got the one shot. The little like mini one shot DLC that they made standalone. It's okay. I mean, I was interested in the bigger one, but it's like fucking $60. It's like, it's one of those things. Too many games, not enough time. I just bought like 3 more games. Keep buying shit. I got this bad habit. Someone take my money away. You with us, Gary? You still there?
I'm still here. Kids are rambling on, so.
All right. So I think we're going to talk about something that this channel has talked about a lot in the past. I mean, it's almost like we're psychic. And I think a lot of people are going to, start understanding that when we say things, we're not talking out of our ass, right? Powder Toastman says Elden Ring has my time at the moment, so I'm set till Hogwarts Legacy drops. Yeah. Bomberny says for sure, give me your money, Tony. I'll take it, no hesitation.
Just another viewer asked me, what does OCG mean? That is the obsessive compulsive gamer.
The obsessive Canadian gamer. All right. So we're going to be talking about the FTC cracking down on influencers. This is a subject that we've touched upon many times on this channel. So if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more great content like we give every single day, then subscribe to the channel, because it makes me feel good, it makes Gary feel good, and it's going to make you feel good when you get top-notch quality content just like this here. And of course, share it with your friends, because this is important. Now, this is coming from PC Gamer. What's up, Gary?
I was gonna say, am I allowed to say fuck the FTC?
You're allowed to say it. I'm not sure if they're going to appreciate it, but you're allowed to say it. So like I said, this comes courtesy of the PC Gamer. It says, FTC looks to crack down on influencers and platforms over fake and manipulated reviews. So Gary, you got to make sure you're playing those games when you're reviewing them. Can't be half-assing it no more.
Oh, I don't half-ass it. I played it. Nice and thorough.
You use your whole ass. All right. That's what we like to hear. All right. It says, this was written by Andy Chalk. He says, the agency has proposed updated guidelines aimed at addressing fake reviews, lack of disclosure, ding, 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 and stealth advertising to children. It says, in 2019, the Federal Trade Commission, which is what the FTC stands for, issued a friendly, easy-to-understand digital booklet called Disclosures 101 for social media influencers. We've gone over this at least twice, I think, maybe 3 times. We went over this document. It's a little handy, easy-to-understand booklet. It's designed to help streamers and influencers understand when and how to disclose their promotional relationships with companies. Now it looks like the FTC is preparing to draw a harder line against stealth advertising and endorsement disclosure, as it has voted to consider updating its guidelines against, quote, fake and manipulated reviews. The FTC has been battling against deceptive online advertising for years. In 2015, for instance, it settled a case against Machinima Inc. over its failure to disclose the fact that it was paying its influencers for promotional videos. A year later, WBIE settled similar charges relating to a Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor promotional campaign. The ongoing problems helped prompt the creation of the Disclosure 101 primer, but the endorsement guidelines underpinning it were last updated in 2009, a geological span of time in the digital world. Thus, the FTC has proposed changes to its guidelines that reflect the extent to which advertisers has turned increasingly to the use of social media and product reviews to market their products. Kind of sounds like the stuff that we've been talking about here, Gary, in regards to the Amico and people not disclosing their relationships with the companies, making these videos, having talking points given to them by the television company and then coming out and repeating them as if they've somehow discovered them or This is their actual thoughts.
I
Putting
mean,
people in videos that were influencers or YouTubers or investors
I
without
mean,
disclosing.
right, you would think this is a no-brainer kind of thing, right? I mean, if you have any kind of integrity, which we know a lot of people that we deal with don't, right, Tony? I mean, they don't have any integrity, but myself, I try to be honest, and I know you try to be honest when you review games, or we're trying to give you our honest opinion here. But it's sad to see that this is a growing problem within gaming. It's just odd. You would think that people would understand, like, hey, people come to you for an honest view. Whether you like a product or not is one thing, but to just blatantly lie and do these manipulation tactics to get people to buy or invest, or what have you. It's just sad to see that it's going on in gaming in general.
Yeah, you shouldn't be putting spin on things. You should just be laying out facts as they are, or as you know them to be. Right. That's what we do here. We just give you the facts, and we allow you, as the audience, to decide whether or not you like the facts, whether or not you agree with company, you like what we said, you like what you heard. We're not trying to influence your opinion. I think that's the difference between us and people without integrity, like Gary was saying. Just another viewer says, 100% if you do a review, you should cite if you played the entire game or just a few hours. Dreamcast Guy and RGT suspect 1 and 2 of this. Yeah, we've discussed this before, whether or not you should have to, finish a game in order to do a review. I think it is something to note. You should, hey, I didn't get through the whole game, or hey, I did get through the whole game.
Well,
Because certain games don't require it, right? Certain games are just the same thing over and over again. A shooter is going to
right.
be a shooter, going to be a shooter. Like I said,
And to
we've
be
talked about this.
and to be fair, with just for reference, my review of Cotton Fantasy, I didn't get through the entire game playing it on harder difficulties. There was just, I wasn't going to spend that time. I spent a good enough time playing it on the harder difficulty, and I did beat the game through on the regular playthrough. But it is something where you can. I mean, it's not. I mean, I guess you could, like, I didn't really point that out in my review, but I hope that people understood that at least. I mean, it's kind of hard, and each game's different. I mean, if you're going into something like Elden Ring, right? I mean, how are you able to? I mean, you got to know your reviewer too, whether he's getting through, whether he does beat games on a review basis, if he gets through the entire game. To me, it's not a huge issue if I know if someone's not getting through the game or they are getting through the game, as long as they're spitting out what exactly, if the game has issues, or if it needs a patch, or a good generalization of what the game is. If you pretty much give me the facts of what I need to know about the game, I'm pretty happy about it. Some people feel a little differently about that, but I try to do my best. I think sometimes we can let it slip under the radar. Everybody's human.
Like I said, I think it depends on the game. Obviously, if you get Elden Ring and your review is up within the first week, you probably did
Right. Right.
Probably a good guess.
Well, and you can always, obviously, like, a lot of people are really good about first impressions, right? I mean, you can release something and say, hey, this is my first impressions of the game. I've put in 20 hours in Elden Ring. Obviously, I haven't beaten it. We'll come back and touch on this again later, and that's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah. Just another viewer says, with Cotton Fantasy, isn't it the same story on each difficulty? I think it's the same story on each difficulty and with each character, because
right?
You get a little screen that says this is from the point of view from Cotton.
Right.
At the beginning. But to continue on with this article, it says the proposed changes don't just target influencers. The notice of recommended revisions also includes a warning to social media companies that their influencer tools may not be adequate to meet legal requirements. Legal requirements, not just suggestions, not that they're Tools might not be adequate to meet what makes the FTC smile. Right? These are legal requirements, which opens them up to potential liability. It also says that companies making use of consumer reviews and promotional materials should not distort or misrepresent. That would mean taking clips of people's reviews and making it seem like it was a good thing when the whole review itself is a negative review.
Kind of like what Intellivision did, huh?
Yeah. What people actually think of their products, right? Micro-targeting specific audiences will also come under greater scrutiny under the proposed new rules. An example cited in the update notice: social media advertisement promoting a cholesterol-lowering product features a testimonialist who says how wow, this is really crappy English. Who says by how much they lowered their serum cholesterol. The claim reduction greatly exceeds what is typically experienced by users of the product, and a disclosure of typical results is required. The marketer has been able to identify from online data collection Spanish-speaking individuals with high cholesterol levels who are unable to understand English, and micro-targets as a Spanish-language version of the ad to them, disclosing the typical results in English. The adequacy of the disclosure will be evaluated from the perspective of the targeted individuals. Wow, that was a lot of gobbledygook. To put it in layman's terms, they're basically saying is if you make an advertisement, right, that shows typical results, but then you target that advertisement towards a specific group, the results are no longer reflective of the group you're targeting, so the ad is not good, right? And in the example they cited, they're talking about Spanish language speaking people, and the typical results were for, say, typical American people. So those results might not be adequate because in this micro group, the results are going to be wildly different. And that's the issue. Does that make sense, Gary?
Yeah.
It says child-directed advertising is also highlighted as being of special concern because children may, let's be honest, will react to advertising and influencers differently than adults, regardless of disclosures made. Practices which would not ordinarily be questioned in advertisements addressed to adults might be questioned in such cases, the FTC said. So what they're saying is for like kids, promoting a product to kids, even if you tell them, hey, I was paid to promote this, right? And they see, what the hell's that kid? The famous
Ryan.
Yeah, they see Ryan playing with the toy. And even if, there's a big flashing light saying Ryan was paid to play with this toy. Ryan actually hates this toy. Ryan's fucking being tortured, whatever. I don't think Ryan's being tortured. I'm just saying. The kids aren't going to pay attention to that shit, right? They're just going to see Ryan playing with the toy and having fun. They're like, oh, I'm going to buy that toy because Ryan's playing with it.
What's really odd is that this was going on for a long time before even, the online age. Why the FTC is now just getting to this is kind of sad.
Well, it's one of those things where the laws have to catch up with the technology. It's the same problem that we have with the DMCA laws, where the laws were written for a specific time period, and now they're trying to apply them to the.
Well, what I'm saying is, even before internet age, I mean, they did this on TV. They did this to kids in the day.
They addressed it on TV. What happens is, in order for you to change it, right, you have to have like a lawsuit, and everything has to be done.
Right.
So until people complain, then you have to okay, people are complaining. Why are they complaining? Because of this particular piece of the law. So then they got the lawsuit, and then someone has to evaluate it, and then the government has to decide. Well, do we want to change that? Because FTC is a government organization, so now they have to, decide what they're going to change, and then you can have lobbyists. It's a slow-moving process. It's not like overnight. Hey, the FTC chairman wakes up and like, hey, we're fucking changing everything, guys. So there is issues with the speed in which certain things get done. I mean, technically, Joe Biden could wake up and make a presidential, whatever the fuck they call those things, where he just writes with a pen, like, here you go. Fucking Joe Biden says, change this shit. But then everyone will be mad at him and all the lobbyists will.
Joe Biden's not writing nothing.
I'm just saying. He's the president. That's why I mentioned his name. It says online reviews and influencer endorsements are ubiquitous on the internet, and they present real and new challenges. FTC Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter. Well, that's a fucking name right there.
Slaughter.
If my last name was Slaughter, I'd definitely join the military. Only get to the rank of sergeant. Like, no. I only want to be Sergeant Slaughter. not General Slaughter, not Major Slaughter, just Sergeant. Said during an open commission meeting on May 19th. Unlike yesterday's celebrity endorsers, influencers are often seen as experts in their market, whether that's for fashion, health products, or cutting-edge consumer technology. I think that's another good point. In the old days, Michael Jordan tells you to eat your Wheaties or something, right? I don't think Michael Jordan's a Wheaties expert. If Shaquille O'Neal tells me to buy Cotton Fantasy, right? I don't view Shaquille O'Neal as a gaming expert. Whereas someone like a Metal Jesus Rocks or an RGT85, people actually look at them like they know about video games. They know, what games are good and what games are bad.
Right.
So I think, it's a little different. It's a different beast from before. It says influencers constantly interact with their followers in their market or social niche. These are often relationships of trust, which we've touched on before. Remember when Retro Bro, friend of the channel, but remember when Retro Bro says, I don't know why anyone would listen to me. Some guy named the Retro Bro to invest in Amico or to buy Amico products. And Cyrus Martin said the same thing, like, why would people listen to me? And I told him, I said, because your audience has built a relationship with you, a trust. Right?
Yeah, whether you intended it that way is different.
Right. Like our audience here, they trust our opinion on certain things because they've watched us. They understand what we do. They believe that we're telling the truth. So when we say, hey, this is a good game or this is a bad game, they tend to believe us on that, right? And that's the same thing. Influencers with their audience, they do have a level of trust. People, we're not seen as celebrities, right? We're not seen as different from other people. We're just like you, right? He's just a guy on YouTube. He's just like me. So you think you can trust him. You think he's just a normal person. When the truth is, there's a lot of snakes out there, right? It says, these are often relationships of trust without clear guidelines and responsibilities. They're ripe for commercial exploitation and deception. The new guides make it clear that we intend to investigate breaches of that trust, whether it's by brands manipulating reviews, influencers not disclosing material relationships with companies. Man, it's a good thing that this is coming now and not like 2 years ago when the Amico was really hot. Because when the Amico was hot, if this was out there, which is exactly the thing that we've always highlighted, this lack of disclosing relationships with companies or micro-targeting aimed at deceiving specific groups of consumers, groups of consumers like retro gamers, perhaps. The updated guidelines will also increase the focus on the role of brands and influencer promotions. There's a real concern about brands using unsophisticated influencers, maybe a certain DJ, and then trying to pawn liability for failure to disclose off on them. Ooh, so now they're saying, even though in television is using these guys, as we've said, they're not going to be scot-free, right? They're going to be held liable. Like you knew that this person that you've entrusted with this information was an idiot, and this idiot was going to do things that violated FTC guidelines. So now you're just as responsible. You can't pawn off the buck. The buck doesn't stop with them.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I agree. That's 100% the right thing to do. This will, obviously, if you put some liability, some responsibility on the brand will do a better job in picking who their influencers are.
Right. You got to set an example. And, going forward, I think a lot of people need to understand that and watch what they say, watch what they shill for, so to speak.
Yeah, that's why, like, on this show, we're constantly letting you know that Jim Ryan, Shigeru Miyamoto, Shiggy, good friend of the show, Susan, they all watch us. They all love us. They're all good friends of the channel. Only the biggest and best watch this show. Phil Spencer, I didn't want to forget you, Phil. I know you're a big fan of the show. Says brands have a real responsibility to make sure their influencers disclose that relationship. Again, these are things that we were saying for like the last 2 years, right?
Yeah, relentlessly.
And we were laughed at, we were mocked, we were told that we were idiots, we didn't know what we were talking about. But here it is, the FTC saying, hey, this is the kind of things that we need to step up our game because they've been flying under the radar, getting away with this stuff. Bomberny TV says this is all very good news. Shame it didn't happen sooner. Yeah, like I said, the wheels of justice move very slowly, but they do move. It says the proposed changes are aimed at all types of influencers, but the focus on promotional content targeting children could be especially troublesome for platforms like Twitch and YouTube. A 2019 Statista report via Backlinko found that 41% of Twitch viewers were aged 16 to 24, and nearly 3/4 were between the age of 16 and 34. But younger viewers weren't counted in the survey. 16 was the lowest age included. That makes it impossible to say definitively, but I'd be willing to bet that there are a lot of under 16s watching streamers regularly. In fact, I can think of 2 right off the top of my head, my nephews, who I'm pretty sure are not outliers in their particular demographic. This is a good point. YouTube, because of the laws and tracking children and stuff on the internet, as far as advertising goes, not like you obviously don't track people on the internet, especially not children. But I mean, like the advertisers being able to track demographics. You're supposed to be 13 to watch YouTube. They got YouTube Kids for people under 13. It's almost like a separate thing, but you're supposed to be 13 in order to watch YouTube. So when YouTube does your demographics, when they give you the breakdown of your stats, obviously there's no one under 13, right? They don't count that. So this could have a big sweeping effect across YouTube. This could, I would almost argue, it might trigger an adpocalypse again on YouTube. Another one, just because channels like Ryan's Toy World are going to be fucking scrutinized.
Yeah, get him. That kid could retire, and his grandkids could. They don't even have to work. His grandkids don't even have to work. It's so sad.
I can just imagine he's going to be a bitter old man who can't look at toys.
Oh, when he hits 18, dude, he's going to be doing blow and messing with hookers. That kid's going to be that kid's going to be a troubled kid.
So I'm just saying, like, could you imagine he's like he's a grandpa, right? Ryan's Toy World, he grows up, he's a grandfather, and his grandkids are like, Grandpa never buys us toys. You want toys, kids? Fucking hate those things. Made me play with toys for 8 hours a fucking day on YouTube. Cameras in my face. Enjoy your mom. Shut the fuck up, kid.
Yeah.
He's gonna be bitter.
He's gonna be a troubled kid.
The rest of us are gonna, the rest of the kids in his age demographic are gonna have nostalgia. He's like, fuck this shit. Goddamn toys. What else we got? It says the FTC voted unanimously to send the proposed changes to the Federal Register, the office of the U.S. government that contains agency rules, proposed rules, and public notices. Another public event focusing on the ability of children to distinguish and understand advertising content and the need for effectiveness of disclosure to children is scheduled for October 19th. So see, this is still a little ways off for all these changes. Like I said, it moves slowly. But it looks like there's going to be a crackdown. It's not going to be good for a lot of channels. A lot of people are going to be swept up in this. Gladly, the Amigo is probably done. So those people are going to get away with all their lack of disclosures. That's all right. Dorkside says the extra lag is the extra content. That's what they didn't disclose yet. And Bomberny's right. You can't stop kids making a fake over 16 or whatever account. It really annoys me. It ruined the online gaming for games like COD, 18 plus games with kids running public voice chat. I know on the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation Network, I should say, when you set up an account for a kid, there are games that'll be like, no, that kid's not old enough to play. Even if you sent parental controls for letting them play whatever, like Call of Duty, like, no, sorry, your account's a 13 and under account, or your account's under 16. Because Sidekick Max had problems playing games.
And I think this is the biggest problem. I think there's parents out there that are willing to say, look, I can set it up as a over the age account, and I'll monitor it myself. So it's not only kids getting away with it. There's there's parents involved too with being okay with them having that, but just monitoring the content that their kids play themselves. So
yeah, and like I said, it was so bad on the PlayStation Network that before Max became 13, it wouldn't let him watch YouTube. Like the app wouldn't work. It was like, no, sorry, your account is under 13. So, I mean, there are things in place, but there's not enough. And obviously, like Gary said, even though we have, the ESRB ratings on games and stuff, parents are just buying whatever. And I'm guilty of it too, right? But, I'm a gamer, so I'm like, yeah, I'm playing the game. I'll play fucking, what the hell is it, Call of Duty with my kid. They explain to him shooting people is not right. Or I'll play, what the fuck's that one? Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, there are a lot of parents who just buy the games and hand them to the kids, and the kids go off and play them. And they get no understanding. They get no lessons. There's no one there monitoring them. So the FTC cracking down, I think, is a good thing. We don't have to worry here because we always disclose our relationships with people, companies, whether or not we got review copies, whether or not we know the devs. We talk to them on a regular basis or whatever. Anything else to add, Gary, before we move on?
No, I think we covered that pretty good.
Yeah. Again, the Amico fans, I would definitely go back, start adding some disclosures to your videos. Don't delete them because those videos have been saved.
They're gold.
Yeah. There's probably 3 or 4 people in the community who have saved your videos. So deleting them only makes you look worse. But
the internet doesn't forget.
Slapping some disclosures, going into the YouTube editor, adding a little graphic text. Hey, by the way, I fucking shilled. I know Tommy, and the company loves me.
Well, when you're cocky and an asshole about things, it didn't help either. That only gave more people ammo to go and save your stuff. So,
Darkside says Call of Duty is too violent. What kind of monster plays those games? I play them all the time. Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm gearing up for Volume 2 of the complete guide to the Amico games.
Is there going to be double the blank pages?
No, it's just going to cover the games from last year, October, to this year, October. We're waiting to see. Fingers crossed that no games get released, or else I might actually have to do some work. Yeah, I know they probably will delete them. They've deleted a bunch already, but One Inch Bicep says, who are you talking about? Just about all that I know disclosed that they were friends. Well, here's the problem, 1 Inch Biceps. You have to disclose in each and every video, right? So making a live stream where you said that you were friends with Tommy and then making a reaction video where you don't say you're friends with Tommy, that would be bad. The reaction video is now violated FTC guidelines. You have to state in every video, every tweet, every post, like community post or whatever. Every
right.
online...
we went over this multiple times. You might have somebody who stops in that's not a regular for that one particular video, and if you don't do it in that one particular video, they're unaware. So every video, everything you, like Tony said, everything that you do pertaining to that subject, it needs to be disclosed.
Yeah, see, Bomini says, I was reading some FTC rules on a live stream. You got to disclose regularly on that stream if you have an affiliation connections to the company. Yeah, live streams are especially troublesome because it's so long, right? And you have people coming in and out. So you have to disclose whenever you start talking about the product. So if it's a hour live stream of Amico, right? Like let's say an Amico After Dark or Amico Forever or an Amico All Access. Just as an example, like a hypothetical, you would probably have to disclose every 15 minutes or so.
I mean, here a good example is Gen X Gamer. Go watch a Gen X Gamer video. How often does he disclose that he's not giving you financial advice? The man knows to cover his ass, and he says it every 5 minutes in his video.
Yeah, it says, how long has the X Getaway member, Gen X, warned people about disclosures? He's always. Hell, when he comes on this channel, like that's the first thing he says. He's like,
right.
Hey guys, it's not financial advice.
Smart man.
He is. So yeah, so this is gonna hit a lot of people in the ass.
Good.
I bet you if this gets passed and everything gets settled, we'll see a few YouTubers suddenly retire, decide that they've had enough. And suddenly they'll be, I've made enough. I don't need any more YouTube money. DJC, the ultimate investor video maker. You want to go over the She-Hulk trailer now, Gary? Or I know you were passionate about it. You were like, yes, big, tall, death by snoo.
Well, I only seen that. I don't know if was it just the one trailer?
It is just the one trailer, but
okay, so I have seen it.
We haven't
it's
talked
not
about it on the channel.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you talked about it. So yeah, we can get into it.
All right, let me pull this up. This is the quality that you come to know. You missed it last night. Fucking Day's stream got fucking flagged in the middle of the stream.
Oh, God. What did it get flagged for?
We were watching videos, and
okay.
It was a video from
commercials?
Central. No, it was like just music videos and stuff. We were just watching random shit. And it was a Comedy Central Trevor Moore video. It's like right in the middle, it just got flagged. Yeah, Dean TV, we're apologizing. This is the apology episode. Stay tuned.
This is the part where you turn out.
Yeah. Winner's Bicep says, say this isn't financial advice, but then give financial advice. Yeah, I mean, it's not really. Gen X doesn't give financial advice. He just gives financial information.
Would it be financial advice if I say don't invest in in television, Miko?
That would be financial advice.
Oh, okay. I can't say that.
But I will say that I know Gen X Gamer, he's probably going to be mad if he hears this. Nobody tell him I said this. But I do think NFTs are going to be worthless in gaming. I don't think in 30 years, no one's going to be like, hey, I need that number one skin for the gun in Fortnite, right? Once the game goes offline, that's it. No one gives a shit.
Just go look at what's going on right now with the NFTs at the NBA packs. I can't remember exactly what they're called. Oh my God, biggest scam in my opinion.
Team says they're so worthless now. Yeah, it crashed real hard.
Like I just don't understand it. And like I've talked about this a little bit. I first started understanding it kind of sort of like as I was doing scalping cards. I was doing sports cards. What was it, like last year? And there was a guy in line who, in the process of us waiting, at our local Meijer for sports cards for the store to open and to get our dibs on what we would get for the day, he would spend $200 to $400 on the digital sports cards, and I just couldn't understand it. And he's like, these things are going to be, these are going to be big. And I'm thinking to myself, like, with who? Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand, like, enclosing a clip or a digital card and it having like a value or a worth to it. Like, I can watch that clip. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. With any of the mediums, if you do it with games, if you do it with sports, if you do it with TV, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I think younger guys are getting hooked into this thing, but for me personally, it just doesn't make sense. I can't wrap my head around it.
Art Bell says digital Kermit as they download the picture for free. Yeah. It was a fad. It was a thing that I think people were really hyped about. They didn't really understand it or how it worked. And I think it's called a big bubble. It caused a big NFT bubble, and it's kind of popped. They have value in certain aspects, right? But I don't think they have the kind of value that people have assigned to them previously.
Well, see, and part of this problem is that everybody wants there to be, they want to get into a new fad, right? And a lot of I think it's like a generational thing. A lot of the younger people are seeing like everything kind of take off, like, oh, games are worth money. So like my new hobby, I hope is worth something. Like, first of all, like, I see a lot of people getting into the NFT only for a money thing, not just because they think it's cool and it's like, oh, I want to collect this kind of stuff, but that they're associating a value behind it. Where, as I've said many times, like, I have a huge collection of games, but it's first and foremost my hobby, right? I'm very passionate about video games, so much that I want to make video games. I want to do art, animation, stuff that relates to that. The money, the speculative investment comes second. And I have done good speculating that games would go up in value over time, but first and foremost, it's my, it's something that I enjoy to do. I see a lot of these people getting into the NFT thing, just hoping that it's like a cash cow for them, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, my fucking crypto is down like 45%.
Yeah, Bitcoin's down like 50% almost.
Well, I got Ethereum.
Well, even Bitcoin, I mean, all like across the board, it's down, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, personally, what I have invested in
is it time to buy now?
I don't think so. It's still going down. I'm down fucking $70. Put you that way. I've almost lost almost half of what I've put into it.
But you don't lose anything until you sell it, Tony.
That's true. It's true. I think it's going to go back up. I don't think it's going to stay down, but we'll see. Yeah, you only lose if you sell. That's all right, though, because my losses will offset all the gains that I had last year. So it'll offset the gains I have on YouTube and all the other stuff. I Saggy coin. Ethereum is down less, I think. Ethereum was supposed to go up because they were forking it, or they were supposed to fork it again. And then there was all kind of predictions, and it was heading up. It was supposed to hit 10,000 by the end of this year, and now it's at like 2,000. I'm like, fuck. Yeah, that Emiko shell is going to put Max through college one day. He's going to buy the college with the shell.
Yeah, you don't need to go to college. Good old trade. That's all you need these days.
All right. I think we're going to get into it. We're all set. Hopefully, fingers crossed that the video plays. Let me know in the chat if this video is playing correctly. I put the volume down a little so it's not too loud. But let me know if it's choppy or if it's playing smooth when we get to it. Because it should be fine now. I got the fucking Ethernet cable. This is the first big test.
Really
All right,
quick,
so-
really quick. The rabbit dude wanted to know if I'm into animation. Yeah, I got a few projects that I'm working on. Could be uh positive and moving towards somewhere in the realm of Playdate stuff. So hopefully in like the next month I'll have something to share with you guys. Once we get everything kind of bolted down, I'll let you guys know.
Bomberny TV says, "Don't listen to Gary. That's not educational advice." E King says, I should sell the shell now while I can. Once people stop caring about the Amico, it will go down in value." I'm hoping in like 10, 15 years that there's a new interest, a new group of people like, hey, remember that Amico thing? And then there'll be some like videos on it, and then interest in the shell will go up.
Let me touch on Bomber Knee's comment though. Our institutions in the U.S. now are you got to have your head on your shoulders and understand if your parents are doing a good job to teach you that like what our professors and teachers are teaching in colleges these days. If you take the right classes, like yeah, you can get a great college education, but you have to be careful because there's a lot of politics injected into our institutions these days. So that's all I meant. But you can't go wrong with a good old trade.
Yeah, Dean's right. In 2050, hipsters will be looking for Amicos.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually have some not juicy Amico news, but I think it's something that we're going to
Get a
discuss on
sliver?
the after show. Yeah, a little sliver on the after show. We're going to save that for the after show. Your set of 8 Amigo games are not worthless. They're one-of-a-kind memorabilia from a time when Tommy Tallarico went crazy and tried to make console. One Inch Bicep says, I think you should keep the shell. The pain of losing money isn't as bad as the pain of it going up and you sold it for less. Yeah. I'm probably going to keep it just because it is a keepsake, is one of a kind memorabilia. We got the signatures. I don't think they're ever going to get the team back together to sign anything again. I think they're all going to go their separate ways. And with that said, we're going to move on and try to get to this damn trailer review.
She-Hulk. Yeah, let's watch this She-Hulk trailer.
The fuck am I tired? Goddamn. We're going to be watching She-Hulk. It's the new trailer for She-Hulk Attorney at Law on Disney Plus. Going to give our reactions to it. Let me remind you before we get to it to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course share this with your friends. Gary, are you excited? Were you excited when you heard about this show being announced?
No.
You're not a big fan of the She-Hulk?
No.
I used to collect She-Hulk comics. I actually was a fan. There was a time when she would break the fourth wall. She did it before Deadpool. She was breaking the fourth wall. The comics were funny, insightful, not too serious. It used to be a really good comic. Now it's garbage. But
Well, here's the thing. I was never like, I'm not too like inclined into it, or I don't know too much about the character. But it always came off to me as that it was like a polar opposite of the Hulk. I don't know if I'm wrong in that assumption, but it's not to me like what the Hulk is. What the Hulk embodies for me, I don't think She-Hulk taps into that. So I think that's why I was always kind of on the fence about it. Not that I'm obviously we all know I'm like misogynistic, but that has nothing to do with it here.
well, the Hulk was always running from Bruce Banner was always running from the Hulk. He didn't want to be the Hulk. It was like a curse. Whereas the She-Hulk saw it as a gift because it didn't really make her that much different. She was just kind of bigger, taller, muscular. So it was sort of polar opposites. She embraced the She-Hulk. She always stayed as the She-Hulk. She didn't change back and forth after a certain point. Originally, she did go back and forth, but eventually she didn't. She was still a lawyer. She had friends. She was part of the Avengers, Fantastic Four. Everybody loved her. Whereas the Hulk was always running from everybody. Everybody hated him. He was a monster. So yeah, they were kind of polar opposites. Now, 1 Inch Biceps said something that he thought was funny. He says, "Could Hulk rape the She-Hulk if he wanted to?" And yeah, I did say the R word despite YouTube.
Oh my goodness.
And the only reason I highlight this is because there is actually a storyline, Old Man Logan, where it's a possible future of the MCU, right? Not the MCU, the Marvel 616. It's a possible future. Wolverine's old. The Hulk actually did get into an incestuous relationship with the She-Hulk and had a bunch of children called the, I think it was the Banner Clan or something. And they were basically a bunch of hillbillies that were the Hulks running around, like controlling a huge portion of America. So yeah, so that was actually a thing in the comics. With that said, let's move on and watch the trailer. Yeah, the gross Banner Clan. See, I know about comics, Dean. I know you're always saying I don't know nothing. I know some things.
Being a superhero is a trial by fire. Who's gonna protect the world if it's not people like you?
So right off the bat, the little bit that they showed of her, that looked good. Later on, I did see this trailer before. Later on, the CGI looks kind of crappy on the She-Hulk. But just that little bit looked good.
I'm Jennifer Walters. I'm a lawyer. I have great friends.
Can we get some shots, please? It's an emergency.
A demanding job.
We just started.
I don't know about you. What's your opinion on the lady playing the She-Hulk, Gary?
What was she in before? I've seen her in stuff, but I can't pinpoint what she was in before, though.
I have no idea that she was in before, to be honest with you. I can look it up real quick. But I think she's pretty enough. If that makes sense.
Are you asking me, is she attractive? Yeah, I think she can pass. I think she's a good pick for the like the original design of She-Hulk.
That's Tatiana Maslany. Let's see, what the hell was she in? She was in Ghost, Heartland. What the hell else? I can't see anything that I recognize. Ginger Snaps 2, Diary of the Dead, Defendor, Grown Up Movie Star, Hardwired.
She might. I think Diary of the Dead.
She was in Toilet. I mean, Souls of Totality, Troll Hunters, Rise of the Titans. She was a voice in that. Yeah, she doesn't look like she was in anything. She was in Perry Mason, 2020 revival series. She was in 2 episodes of Parks and Recreation. She wasn't in anything really big, it looks like. So it's kind of weird that they picked her. But I don't think she's pretty enough, to be honest. I don't find her that attractive. What did I stop sharing that screen?
A superhuman law division, and I want you to be the face of it.
And a frustrating family.
Because we didn't ask for this, but you still got to deal with it. Your transformations are triggered by anger and fear.
Those are like the baseline of any woman just existing.
Oh.
Bruce, kind of feels like if I don't transform, I'm gonna die.
Yes. No.
I just want to be a normal, anonymous lawyer. Can you tell us where She-Hulk is?
Jen, you're a story now.
Girl, your ass looks crazy right now.
You could be an Avenger.
Oh, I'm not a superhero. That is for billionaires and narcissists and adult orphans for some reason. more depressing than dating in your 30s?
This is the best date I've had in a while.
Oh,
Should we split some fries?
let's get those to go.
My first takeaway is like very cringe, and I totally can see watching this, and my old lady will probably be chuckling, and I will not be. Like, I don't know. That's my takeaway.
Bomberny says apparently she was in Orphan Black, and it was a big hit. Never heard of that. CGI is terrible. Yeah, I agree. The CGI is looking bad in this trailer.
It's especially when she's sitting there at like the at the restaurant, and she's like slightly moving, and it seems like the face is not like it's not centered. Like, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, but like when she's green, it's off.
Yeah, Francis Candy says I can't wait to not watch it. I'm gonna watch it because I watch everything Marvel. I can't help myself. Bomberny says Marvel has put out trailers with unfinished CGI in the past. It's not a big deal to me. Well, we're gonna go over some little I don't want to call them Easter eggs, but some little things in the trailer here.
I think the CGI is a non-issue for me. I think it's more so the jokes that they're going to be going after. I think they're going after the girly girl crowd of, like, you know, women who are not like, who are girlfriends of boyfriends who are big comic book fans or MCU fan nerds. Like I could totally see my old lady loving this. But me just face palming the entire time.
E King says, "Will it be better than Moon Knight?" It might be better than Moon Knight. Yeah, it's probably going to be pretty cringe. It probably.
I mean, do you agree with my take, Tony? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, she always was targeted at like non-comic book readers. At least her initial series, the Sensational She-Hulk. But right here, they said they're going to start a superhuman law division. That's an entire division. So I'd imagine that we might get Matt Murdock or Foggy Nelson popping in as either, a cameo or maybe part of this law division. Because everybody's already assuming that he's going to be in the show at some point.
Where's Blinded when you need him on this? This is where we need Blinded to his take on this.
Yeah, but Blinded he reads leaks and spoilers. We don't want none of that. We want genuine reactions. Eli Roth here. He plays the Abomination. As you can see, he's in human form.
No, not Eli.
Tim Roth?
Tim Roth, yes.
Eli Roth, the guy from Hostel. What the fuck am I thinking of? Right? I don't know. I'm getting old. Either way, Tim Roth here. You can see he's in human form, which is something the Abomination could never do. He could never transform back and forth. He was always stuck as the Abomination. Up until this moment, he was always the Abomination in the MCU. So I'm thinking that either he gets quote-unquote cured of the Abomination-ness, and they're now putting him on trial, and She-Hulk is going to have to defend him because, Tim Roth's character, Emil Blonsky, is not responsible for the actions of the Abomination, those type things.
Right.
Because they show her going into this room to meet up with him. So it's almost implied as a attorney consultation, right? Because if he was on trial, she probably wouldn't be here. She was opposing counsel. She wouldn't be here meeting with him. But if he was a client, she would be meeting with him. So it's probably a good chance that she is representing Emil Blonsky.
Now he was from the Edward Norton Hulk movie, right?
Right.
Okay. It's been so long.
This whole thing about being women and then you're always angry and fear or whatever, that was kind of a cringe joke. But what's going to be interesting is how they're going to play up the whole being a sister thing or being a cousin rather. Like this character is just gonna come out of nowhere, like, hey, by the way, Bruce has a cousin that we've never mentioned or even hinted at existing
Right.
before. Like you would think when he was running around trying to avoid the army and stuff, and they were wanting to arrest him in the previous Hulk movie, that maybe his lawyer cousin might have, helped him out a little. So it's going to be kind of weird that they're just going to, hey, she exists now. We just never mentioned her before. Yeah, they're going to cousin Oliver it. Just hey, she exists. Especially because they're the way they've presented it in the trailer, at least. Her and Bruce seem to be very friendly, very familiar with each other, close even.
Yeah, it's silly.
His CGI looks good, right? The Hulk CGI, but hers.
Oh yeah, he pretty much looks like he did in what not Endgame, was it Endgame?
Yeah,
Or,
Endgame. Dork's Head says Bruce doesn't discuss family matters. Yeah. One Inch Bicep says I never knew the She-Hulk was related to Bruce. Yeah, Jennifer Walters is Bruce Banner's cousin. She gets into in the comics anyway. She gets into an accident and needs a blood transfusion. So Bruce Banner, they're the same blood type. So he gives her a blood transfusion, thinking it'll be okay, not realizing that the Hulkness is in his blood. So when he gives her the transfusion, she gets some gamma radiation from the blood and turns into the She-Hulk. Who's playing Bruce? The same actor. What the hell is his name? Mark Ruffalo.
which is probably the only highlight there.
Yeah.
Is that he'll at least be in there?
Now, She-Hulk's one of her biggest, if not biggest, enemy or arch nemesis is Titania, which is a character that just basically is a female who's really strong, like the She-Hulk. However, she got her power from a alien being called the Beyonder when they were on this place called Battleworld, right? Now, I don't think they're going to do that here. So Titania is supposed to be in the series. So it is my belief, and I said this to Mad Max on his show the other day, that I think that they're going to say that basically after the She-Hulk gets her powers from Bruce Banner, that they're going to do the same thing and say that Titania got her powers from Emil Blonsky, the Abomination. Because we've seen him depowered, so something's going to have to happen where he either gets his powers removed or learns to depower, and they're probably going to take his blood and give it to her and create the Titania. Are you familiar with any of those characters, Gary, or am I just talking?
Not really loosely.
There was something else in the trailer. Maybe it's after this. Her breaking the door was kind of dumb because it's supposed to like be a containment for the Hulk, I think. So she's not supposed to be as strong as the Hulk. Right there, this where they show them jump, right? I thought that was kind of dumb. And the reason is, again, the Hulk is supposed to be way stronger than the She-Hulk, right? So he should be jumping a lot further than she could jump.
I mean, do you think that they're gonna? I mean, it's woke Disney now. Are they going to write it that she is stronger than him?
I think they're going to make it so that they're as strong as each other because the MCU Hulk isn't as strong as the Hulk in the comics, right?
Right.
It's kind of like a weird. What's a fallacy, Mark Lenartz? The Hulk is a 100 tons and over strength. The She-Hulk can only lift up to a maximum of 100 tons. Williams Bicep says maybe the Hulk is holding back. Yeah, that's true. Actually, Bomberny TV, you're wrong. The Professor Hulk at least in the comic version of it. The regular Hulk, his strength level starts at like 80 tons. Then as he gets madder, it increases where it passes the 100-ton limit. Whereas the Professor Hulk starts and ends at just over 100 tons, as said by the Marvel Comics guides. Tommy Oyemiko says, I believe they're not allowed to make a Ruffalo film on their own. No, Universal holds the rights to The Incredible Hulk. Marvel holds the rights to produce the films, but it's up to Universal to whether or not they choose to make them. They have an agreement where Universal gets paid for when the Hulk is used in other films like the Avengers. So I think they're just rather just not make a movie because the last movie didn't do that well. So they're like, fuck it, just use the Hulk and give us money, right? Because it's basically free money. I think there was one more thing that I wanted to see in this trailer. It was like something that flashed by real quick right there. Hold on. See right here, the She-Hulk is in the courtroom. You can see all kind of destruction in the back, and she's running at somebody who you can't really see here, but is obviously a female. So I can slow it down and catch it. I think this is Titania. That Power Ranger person, I have no idea who the hell this is. I think this is Frogman. Don't quote me on this. It's either Frogman or the She-Hulk in a suit pretending to be a superhero, maybe. Art Bell says, please don't tell Tony that the comics are not reality. Keep him buying his crap. I don't buy comics anymore. Yeah, 1-inch biceps is correct. Marvel sued Hulk Hogan. They came to an agreement. Hulk Hogan, in order to use the Hulk name, has to pay a licensing fee. Frogman, that's you, Tony. Yes and no. So you've seen the trailer, Gary. Are you excited? Are you going to watch this?
Well, at some point, I know I'll probably have to watch it with the old lady. Will I like it? Probably not.
Look at that. Top quality CGI right there. Dacha Noob says he'd rather see the 3-boobed Total Recall bird. Yeah. Barmany says, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Frogman. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, but you never know with Marvel. They sometimes throw you for a loop. Look what they did with Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie. It was a different Taskmaster. It wasn't the one from the comics. So it could be Frogman, but then it could be like somebody else in a Frogman costume or something, you know.
Yeah, I'm just overall not a fan of She-Hulk. Really, it's not Hulk. It's not Bruce Banner. Not a fan.
Yeah, Abomination says that looked like Abomination transforming from Timoth to the Abomination. Yeah, we'll go back and we'll check it out. There we go. I think that is we missed that on the first playthrough, but that would be Titania. I don't like the look of that character. You see, it might have been. It just looked like he was walking and he bumped his head on the top for some reason. So it's kind of weird. Anything else to add to this, Gary?
No, I'm not particularly excited to see the lame, corny jokes they have for women lined up.
Gary's a feminist. He knows he is. He's excited for this. I'm going to watch it, of course. Obviously, I love Marvel shows. The trailer does not make me excited, but I was a fan of the She-Hulk. So I'm interested to see what they do. And plus, I'm a fan of the Hulk. He's going to be in the show. So that's supposed to lead to another like World War Hulk TV series. So I'm a little bit excited. They're coming out with a Miss Marvel TV show. Yeah, it's about the Kamala Khan, and that trailer is out, as Barmany says. But I think that's even worse woke, and I think Gary might break his phone if we play that trailer. Right, Gary?
Yes, no woke.
Barmany wants to be stepped on, apparently. So how did the trailer play good for you, Gary? Was it choppy?
Yeah, it looked good. I thought it looked good.
What about you in the chat? Was the trailer good? Did it run well? I didn't see anybody complaining. Usually everybody's complaining within the first 10 seconds that the shit's not fucking playing. One of his biceps says played pretty good. Barmany says quality was great. Oh, good. So the Ethernet cable, it ran well, but it looked like shit. You talking about the Amico again? Apparently, Wong is going to be in one episode. And Jamila Jamil is playing Titania. So that's going to be interesting. Well, it's going to be something. Gary's going to love it. He's going to give us an episode by episode breakdown every week.
I mean, I agree though. I would be a little excited if I knew that Bruce was going to be in there quite often. If we're going to get a lot of Hulk time, and where it could lead for him. Otherwise, I just see a lot of she's going to be very masculine, and it leading to a lot of corny jokes though. I can just see the whole part where she's dating and she's got all these manly dudes, and then she picks the dude up at the end. It's just it's so cringe to me for some reason.
You don't want that.
I'm a traditional guy. I am a traditional guy, and that's just so weird. It's so weird and awkward to me.
I think that's part of the joke. I think it's that she's so big and strong that this dude who does have muscles. Powder Toastman says She-Hulk looks like absolute shit. Damn, Marvel movies are going down the toilet. Well, it's not a movie; it's a TV series.
Right. And to be fair, it's She-Hulk, right? I mean, this is a character that's not a staple, so they're not going to put that kind of money into the project.
Yeah, and it is still early, so the CGI might be touched up.
Right. I mean, I'm not too excited about it, but I'll go into it with an open mind. I might like it at the end, so you never know. It could be a breakout hit. I don't see it happening, but it could be.
All right, we got a few more things to talk about, so let's get to them. The last article of the show. Well, actually, there's two. What the fuck? I forgot about the Blizzard thing. Damn. Do we need to talk about the Blizzard thing?
And you were worried about content for the show tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's because we all these in between segments have really eaten up the time.
I did, so
let's see. We will talk about Elden Ring. Everyone loves Elden Ring, right? We need an Elden Ring segment. I don't think we've covered much Elden Ring on the show.
Elden Ring.
That's right, Gary. We're going to be talking about Elden Ring, the evolving map specifically. Remember to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you can get more top quality content. Just like
The overrated game of the year.
Ooh, hot take. I have not played it yet, but that is definitely a hot take. We do not
I
endorse
really,
that on this channel.
I have a feeling this game's gonna win game of the year, and if that happens, I'm throwing my hands up. I'm leaving the theater. I'm done. I might hang up my might never be a gamer again. I might walk away from the hobby. Done. I'm over. You heard it here first.
Ooh, people are booing you, Gary. They're booing you already. So, Elden Ring's map has been quietly changing with every patch. I found this interesting. This is coming from VG 24/7 by Sharif Saeed. It says From Software has slyly made a number of changes to the world map of Elden Ring without telling anyone. Elden Ring has received a handful of patches since its release at the end of February. Developer From Software made a number of improvements to the game's performance, fixed a few bugs, and rebalanced a whole host of skills and weapons in an attempt to tone down the most obviously overpowered options. As with many Japanese developers, FromSoft is guilty of making tweaks that do not get mentioned in patch notes. Players are left to discover and document those on their own in an attempt to keep track of what actually changes from one patch to another. Those changes are usually relevant, which is why players tend to look for them, but some go entirely unnoticed. Unless you're an eagle-eyed modder, YouTuber Illusionary Wall, who made a career out of digging deep into From Software's games to discover cut content, clip through boundaries, and track hidden changes, has put out a video about a particular unlisted change that you may not even think to check for. That being the game's beautiful world map. In their video below, Illusionary Wall, with the help from the other community members, shows how the map of each Elden Ring's major regions has changed since the game's release. From Software has evidently been cleaning up the map to retrace areas and improve the accuracy of its representation of the game's physical world. This also extends to the illustrated map pickup players required to dispel the fog of war. The majority of changes are benign and appear to have been made to get rid of areas that no longer exist in the world or add locations that weren't previously represented on the map. The YouTuber speculates that certain sections of the map were the result of procedural generation, which is why the developers had to go back and update them with what actually got added later. Some of the removed landmasses and such, however, could indicate that FromSoft initially had a plan for them, but ended up removing them because it ran out of time. It is quite common for the developer, as many have discovered, cut content, as well as remove mechanics in most of the studio's games. It's likely From Software updated the world itself in subsequent patches for its other games. But since Elden Ring is the first to include a world map in that way, there's effectively a record of these changes. So basically, they're talking about the in-game map item, and
So-
not the actual.
So I'm kind of fighting with the little guy here. So did they shave? Are they shaved off portions of the map because they just are not going to get to it? They're not. Is that what I'm hearing?
The actual map, like the item that you get, the map item,
Mm-hmm.
what was displayed on it has changed because they've removed some things and they've added some other things to represent the actual game world itself. There were areas that you could not access that were on this map that are now removed from the map, but they were never
Okay.
actually in the game, right?
Oh, okay.
So I just thought that was an interesting little story from Elden Ring. They actually, went back, changed the in-game map item, and people weren't even noticing. Like that, I think is one of the weirdest things. Like I guess people aren't really looking at the map; they're not really paying attention to the map that's actually there to help them around the world.
Well, it's always kind of been the thing since the beginning for Elden Ring is the discovery, right? I mean, I can understand it. It's not that big of, and from the get-go, from my understanding, is that the map really didn't help at the beginning of the game, and they have added like locations or beacons or something like that, I think. So I can totally understand why players might not be too like reliant on the map. Otherwise, this is kind of just iffy. I mean, if they're adding stuff for it that's helpful, then great. If it seems kind of just like
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I thought it was just interesting, and we needed an Elden Ring topic. We got to get in on that sweet YouTube algorithm, right? That Elden Ring buzz. We're always doing it for the clicks. Got to get the clicks. Like I said, just a little interesting story. I thought we needed something to fill in the space, fill in the time. Obviously, go to their video, the Illusionary Walls video. He details it, goes over everything about the map, about the changes, and he's got other videos talking about the changes that were not discussed in patch notes and some that were. So if you're interested in Elden Ring, that would be the channel to go. Bomberny says the map has always been useful. It shows where to go to remove the fog of war. So there you go.
One day I'm going to get somebody to loan me their PS5 and Elden Ring so I can play this abomination of a game that everybody's talking about.
I might actually buy it just so I can play it and get that sweet view count, but probably not because I'm not really a big fan of that type of game.
Yeah, I've never really seen the appeal to it. I mean, I get why people play it. Like, the initial reason of why people loved Souls was that it was hard, and I get that. Like, I got games that I play that are hard too. I just don't see the fuss over something that's. I want the attention to detail, and I don't think it has it. I think the bosses are beautiful. I think there are like some shining moments for that game, but I think people are fanboying over this game, and I think it's a fad right now. I think when people look back at this game compared to, other games, when the PlayStation 5 starts to roll and the Xbox Series X starts to roll with just cutting edge games, I think people are going to look back at it and be like, it wasn't that really that great of a game.
You think so?
I know so.
Everybody's booing you in the chat, Gary. They're saying they do not agree with your hot take. They're saying that you are crazy. Hey, Gary, play the game. Yeah, you can't say bad things unless you play it. Until you try it, right? You're not allowed to criticize.
Well, I already know what it's an open world Souls game. If you played Souls, it's what it is. I mean, I don't have to play. I mean, I understand it. I understand why people like it. I'm not saying you can't like it. I'm not saying it's a terrible game. I just don't. It's going to end up winning Game of the Year. I can see it now. I see it now. It's going to win a Game of the Year, and that's going to blow my mind. It's going to blow my mind.
What are your kids doing over there, Gary? They're like,
I got two boys. They fight.
Who's winning?
Me, because I'm going to have a foot in each one of their asses.
You're wearing my slippers.
Yes.
All right. We have a discussion topic here, which I think is interesting. This was brought about because of one of the friends of the channel made a tweet. And I'm actually going to go to that tweet so we can discuss this. But I think it's a interesting topic, one that we've sort of touched on in the past, but we're going to get into it more here. So we're going to be talking about showing support for fellow YouTubers. What does it mean? How do you do it? What is the end goal? And why? Why you should talk about that sort of thing. And this was brought about because a fellow content creator, friend of the channel, Retro Bro, made a tweet sort of bashing some people for not showing him support. Before we get into it, let me remind you to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel, because every time you subscribe to the channel, Gary gets that much closer to
the internet.
Oh, you want internet? Okay, that much closer to get
Elden Ring. Yeah, I'll sell the PS5 and the Elden Ring just so I can get internet. No, I'm on the fast track to internet now with everything going on though. Internet should be in the future, in my future, within the next 30 days, because it has to happen with everything that's going on right now. It's kind of a necessity in my life right now. So Fingers crossed. Next 30 days.
All right, so this was the Retro Bro. Like I said, he made this tweet. He says, "Gonna rant here for a minute. Last night I did a 2-hour live stream. We talked games, Microsoft, Steam Deck, etc. Not one single time did I see a Pro Amico friend come in and say hi. Or support the stream. Now I know I've been critical of what Intellivision Dad is doing, but I get zero support from my so-called quote-unquote friends, who's already actively supporting my channel and in my chat. Those people who were called haters, hate journalists, etc. The Geek Getaway, Ninja Kitty Life, Skull, and D-Pad, and others. I was always against the whole cult stuff, but when this happens, I start to see why. Since I've been critical of the Amico, that side of people, Pro, have nothing to do with my channel. In short, everyone can suck my eggplant. I honestly don't even care whose feelings I hurt anymore because it turns out it was all bullshit anyway." Now, on one hand, I entirely understand what Retro Bro is saying. It is very frustrating when you have friends on YouTube or in the community or just in general, and they don't show what you feel is the appropriate level of support, right? Because I've been in that situation where I was like friends with some other people. I was kind of like, hey, they're not retweeting my articles. They're not, using them as sources. They're not even mentioning them. They're not telling people to check out my stuff. And there is like a frustration there, right? You would do something and you would expect the people to support you to be your friends, right? Obviously. But I'm also on the flip side, right? And I understand what it's like to be somebody with a lot of time that you're working between work, family, doing YouTube myself, trying to support other people. You can't be everywhere at all times, right?
Yeah, not at all.
So I think it is very hard to show support. Like if you're a YouTuber and to be there all the time, I think it's kind of impossible, right? Just the amount of people in this group, right, in the community, the quote-unquote Kermit crew or the Kermit cult or whatever you want to call us, right? Between myself, Days Gaming, Ninja Kitty, Tommy Uyumiko, Bomberny, Rambling Man, Carl, Retro Bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of content out there, and only so much time in the day. And
Dork Side.
right, and I there for a while I was visiting Bomberny's streams, and that kind of ended. But I've been busy as of late. There for a while I was kind of jumping over to Rhea's streams and Saggy stuff, and there's just so many people, so little time, so much content. It's hard to do it all.
Yeah, Potion Sword Run. I don't want to forget Potion. Saggy.
Gen X. I mean, there's so many of us. So,
Dorkside says he's a one-man cult. Don't lump him in.
Yeah, it's so hard to do it all, but obviously we wish everybody the best. Pro, both sides, everybody. But it's hard. It's hard to do it all.
Potion Sword Run says, "What about me? You're part of the crew. You're part of the community, the cult." Bomberny agrees, Gary, 100%. Here's the thing, right? And I think we got to kind of step back as YouTube content creators, and we got to kind of look at things in a more pragmatic or realistic approach. I make content for myself,
right?
I make content for my viewers, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean my friends, right? Like Gary might not be interested in the things that I make on YouTube. So I can't really be mad at Gary for not watching my content because it's not the kind of content he watches regularly, right? If I was making Playdate videos, maybe I could say, hey, Gary, why aren't you checking out my Playdate videos? I know you're interested in Playdate, right? But if I was making speed runs, and Gary's like, I don't watch fucking speed runs, right? So why would I watch your speed runs just because we're friends? So I think that there's got to be like sort of a separation between what you expect of your friends, and obviously what you expect of your audience. And if your friend isn't in your audience, don't expect them to support your content all the time.
And here's another thing too. Like, I know Bomberny, you've been doing. I don't know if you're still doing it. You were doing Dead Space 2, and I haven't. Like, I've beaten Dead Space 1. I have not played through Dead Space 2 or 3 yet. I played, I think, the demo of 3. I wanted to jump into that stream so many times, but just on the fact that I don't want to be spoiled. I know that's such an old game, and I do have the game, and it's in the backlog. I particularly did not jump into that stream because I have not played Dead Space 2. So that could also be a possibility. People might not want to jump in if you're doing gaming stuff. They might not want to spoil stuff. So I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, or if you're on your third video of a series, like we were playing Until Dawn, right? Someone might pop in and see, hey, Until Dawn Part 3, and like, oh fuck, I missed the first 2, so now I'm not gonna watch.
Right.
I'm not gonna pop in the middle. So they're like, fuck it, I'm out. I think one of the issues though is you got like the Retro Bro had a lot of support because the Amico content, and I don't think he realized, and I've discussed this with John, I don't think he realized that people weren't watching his non-Amico stuff, right? His Amico quote unquote friends were never really watching his non-Amico content to begin with, right? So it's not surprising that none of them watched his live stream from last night. So I think there was an expectation that he shouldn't have had on them. But on the flip side, a lot of these people were his friends that were, from previous. A lot of them were supporting him before. So, it is kind of weird. Like, I had an issue with Balding Bob Ross, right? I didn't realize that he was blocked on the channel until he informed me on I think it was a Gen X video. It was like, hey, you had me blocked. I was like, oh, I didn't know, right? But we do tend to notice when you're a smaller YouTuber, you tend to notice certain names. And then when they stop showing up, you're kind of like, I wonder what I did that, 56K warning's not coming around, or where's E King been, or Tamu Miko, right? So I think he was used to seeing certain people, like maybe a Cyrus, or and Geeks with Cash or somebody like that. I don't know all of his friends. So he probably seen them and didn't see them. It was kind of like, what the fuck? These guys have been here all the time. They were always around. Now suddenly they're not. He's feeling a certain kind of way.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, in recent, just the way things have been going with, his last few videos of talking about Amico, and I'm sure he has maybe an assumption, I don't know, but maybe he feels like the way he's covering the Intellivision has to do with maybe why they're not showing up. So I get both sides of it, especially that side that's been kind of like they've been very tight knit on everything they've done. Like, for the last year, they've been around, and then all of a sudden now they're kind of not. And then the timing with with the recent videos. So I totally get that side of it, but who knows, right?
Yeah, I think also some of it comes from the one-sided support, because I know I've seen Retro World pop into their other live streams and their videos and leave comments and stuff, right? So he probably feels like, wait a minute, I'm doing all this to support you guys. There's no reciprocation. You guys aren't showing me the same level of support. And I understand that mindset, and it's very toxic. It's a terrible, terrible mindset. Because again, your content might not be the kind of content that those people like to watch.
Right.
Saggy's a perfect example. I got no problems with her. We're cool. But a lot of the videos she makes just aren't for me. Like, I don't like them. I don't watch them. I'm not going to pop in and say anything, in the chat. And I think a lot of the stuff we make is probably stuff she's not interested in, right?
Right.
So I don't. There's no animosity. There's no like anger that she doesn't watch my stuff. And it took me a long time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm this perfect human being, despite being this perfect human being. But it took me a long time. Right, when I first was starting, like even before YouTube, when I first was like, all right, I'm gonna do my own website, right? And I was like, wait a minute, all the people that said they wanted it aren't supporting me. Where's all my friends that are supposed to be supporting me? No one's retweeting my stuff, and no one's, giving me likes on my tweets. And I felt a certain kind of way, right? I was just like John. I was like, I felt like, man, I go out of my way to support you guys, and you guys aren't supporting me. I felt a certain kind of way.
Right, and like you said, it just boils down to like treating it like life. Like you just got to be happy with what you're doing for you and you alone, and everything else will fall into place. As long as you're happy with what you're doing and you're making content just to, I guess, amuse yourself, then that's really all that matters.
Yeah. And like Dorkside said, he says, I don't like drama channels, so I can't watch any video where it's one person calling out another, and then there's back and forth drama. Yeah, I understand that. And if we did drama video, I wouldn't be upset if anybody didn't watch. Yeah, I think for John, he's been a smaller YouTuber. He's obviously got more subs than us, but he's still within that area of small YouTube, So I think he's used to like seeing certain names, seeing certain people show up, and then when they stop showing up, it hurts a little, right? It hits you in a certain spot as a YouTube content creator, as someone who treats your audience as I don't want to say friends, but as acquaintances at the very least. Like, I'm familiar with you guys, I'm friendly with you guys, so it is, it hits you a certain kind of way. I know I keep saying that. Like Gary, like we've had the issue with Carl, right? I don't want to cause any more drama with Carl, but we've had the issue with Carl's complaints about, you guys not coming over to his channel. And to be fair, maybe his content just isn't the kind of content you guys want to watch, right? Maybe the 600 or so of you that subscribe to this channel aren't interested in the things that Carl does on his own. And he shouldn't feel a certain kind of way. He should just appreciate the ones that he does have, people that have, subscribed to his channel. Worry about the ones that are around and not the ones that aren't around is what I'm saying. If that makes any sense. And Carl is awesome, King. I agree. Anything else to say about this, Gary? How do you feel about supporting other content creators? You got to go out of your way to be everywhere at once.
I watch so much stuff, and you like kind of nailed it. I'm just, you get into a mode of like, if you're gonna watch YouTube, there are things that are interesting or interesting to you in like that particular time frame. And right now, like, Playdate is kind of like where I'm at. Like, my Playdate's coming; it should be here soon. So I'm sucking up everything from like itch.io, people covering reviews, just everything I can sink my teeth into. And then I've kind of got back into like political stuff a little bit lately. So I've been watching like, Roe v. Wade stuff and just things going on in political spectrum. And I mean, you get stuck in little segments, right? Like this week it might be arcade 1-up cabinets. Next week it's Elden Ring. Like who knows? But like it's hard to cover everybody. And like I told John, I said, if I weren't at a concert, I probably would have stopped in and said, hey, watched a little bit. And I told him, like, it is what it is. Just keep up your stuff, because I think he does good with the retro stuff. And nobody's perfect. You can't count on everybody to be tuning into your stuff. So you just do the best you can. But yeah, I mean, if you can support him, you got the time, you know, stop in, at least say hi to somebody. That, you know, that's cool. But you can't be everywhere. So
Yeah. I actually had a similar conversation with Dean. I had mentioned that I don't really use Twitter, right? And he's like, "What are you talking about, Tony? I see you liking tweets and replying to people and stuff, right?" And the thing is, sometimes I'll go on Twitter, right? And then I go to my latest. I have it set up so it's the latest tweets in my feed. It's just the people I follow, and I'll scroll down and maybe 10, 20, 30 tweets. And so if you're within that 10 to 30 tweets that I've scrolled down past, I'll reply to you, or I'll like your tweet, or I'll retweet it or whatever, right? But after that, that's it. Like I'm not going to be there all day. I don't have notifications on. I don't have anything set up. So if I'm not on Twitter for a particular reason, I'm not probably going to see your tweet. I'm never going to see it unless you tag me or tweet at me for something. I probably won't see your tweet. I probably won't respond to it or reply to it.
yeah, and that's fair because most of the time it's when I tag you guys that you'll you'll respond to it. But there's just so much. I mean, there's only so much time in the day. There's just so much.
Oh yeah, there's way too much things to do, and like I said, if you don't see me on your channel, if you don't see me watching your videos or on your live streams, don't think it's because I don't like you or I'm mad at you or I hate you. I'm not trying to support you. I don't have the time. I might have missed it. It's not something I'm interested in. So that is my apology for the apology episode. If I'm not here, if I'm not around, I still like you guys, but it just might not be for me. The content might not be my type of content. And yeah, Parmany's right. Support comes in many different ways. You can support people by sharing their videos. Sometimes I share your videos on Discord or on Reddit or Twitter or something. Sometimes support might be just retweeting a tweet or liking a tweet. Definitely do not go into people's videos. I know a lot of people do this, and a lot of people are talk about this. Like, go to the video and like it for your friends. Like, even if you're not going to watch it, just like the video. No, don't do that. That gives you fake likes and fake view count, and it hurts your watch time. Like, if you just pop in for like 2 minutes to like a video and leave a comment, the watch time will probably counteract any sort of positive engagement that you're doing. So it's probably not a good thing. Yeah, I mentioned that, Retro Bro. I mentioned that they were around before you were critical. I was just kind of using your tweet as a jumping off point. Don't be mad at me. Please support me. You got anything else to add to this, Gary?
Yeah, I think we covered it pretty well. I think we hit the nail on the head when it came to it. Just do you, and hopefully that you make the videos for yourself, and hopefully that gets you where you want to be. And at the end of the day, if not, there are worse tragedies in the world.
Yeah, and just like Woody and Buzz, you always have a friend in me, but I might not always be around. Right? All right. We got one more topic. Do you want to talk about Blizzard getting sued, or you just want to go to the polls and get that over with?
Well, let's go to the polls.
Really, Blizzard's. I'll just cover it real quickly. Blizzard's getting sued because children were buying Hearthstone packs, the card packs, and they're kind of call it gambling,
right?
And that whole thing. I think they're being sued in California.
Is this an older lawsuit? Because do people still play Hearthstone?
It's a new lawsuit, and people do still play Hearthstone.
Wow.
Apparently, what they're arguing is because of under California Family Code, minors should be able to disaffirm contracts. In other words, be able to break them, get out of them, or get their money back. So basically, they're saying is the kids who bought all these packs.
Gary, I need help.
Shh.
They bought all these packs of Hearthstone cards. They didn't get the
right.
cards they wanted. so they should just be able to get their money back.
Oof.
Yeah, because his child spent over $300 on Hearthstone, which isn't really a lot of money in the grand scheme of things.
It isn't, but how do you let your kid spend $300 on Hearthstone?
Well, it says between 2019 and 2021, so in a 2-year span, $300 is really not.
Oh my God.
Yeah, over a 2-year span, $300, not that much money. Help the damn kid, Gary.
My
Yes,
kid's freaking out over here.
Dorkside said, "Did your son just say, Gary, I need help?" Yeah, 56K warning says refund baseball cards while they're at it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, there's been worse stories than $300 over 2 years.
I mean, I could see the what does he say? I need help. There's a fire and the alarm has no batteries. I had no idea.
Gary's kid got his toe stuck in the Sega Genesis card slot again.
Oh, you guys are so terrible.
Yeah. One is
By the way,
I think that kid stuck in a bear trap. Gary, like, shh.
by the way, Tommy, I mean it's the weekend. They're allowed to stay up a little bit later, and since I'm like streaming, like I could tell them to go to bed. They just pretty much tell me to go to hell, and they'd just be running around like they're hyper. They're hyper. They're hyper.
I'm telling you, some cough syrup, just a little bit of cough syrup.
Well, we do what's the gummy stuff, the for kids, the yes, but even like last night he had like 2 of them. He had like, what was it, like 6 milligrams or whatever, and it was like it took him a while. They're just hyper kids. It's not from my genes, it's from her genes. So
you got to get them running around. Have them run around outside for like 2 hours.
we were running around all day today.
I'll tell you that.
All day today. They're yes. That's why I'm saying when you guys are screaming about fire alarms, I'm like, you kidding me? I got like the fire alarm's the least that like you have no idea. Like that fire alarm, it goes in one ear and out the other because I got these 2. So it's like nothing compared to that smoke detector.
Yeah. This whole court filing is so stupid. It's basically talking about the cards being worthless except for the couple of good ones, and trying to get the good ones is basically gambling. All right. So we're going to go to the polls, which is the only thing that matters on this channel. We're actually running late on the after show. People are going to be disappointed, upset. But Gary, did you know they try to call us pedos?
Who is that? Who tried to call me a pedo?
Let me see. The comment was, and I'll share it on the screen here.
They have verifiable proof on that comment?
This
and that
comment,
accusation?
It was from Hunter Green. He says, weren't they all underage when the show was filmed? Feels wrong for a bunch of grown men to be asking or answering this question. I told him, don't overthink it. He says, that's a very inappropriate response. WTF.
Oh, hold on. What was it directed towards? What
it was directed towards
to the Saved by the Bell question?
Yes.
No.
No.
Those characters are older than I am. Those actual life actors are older than I am.
You give your kids Delta 8 gummies, Gary?
No, it's the purple containered ones. I don't know what those are. What's Delta 8? Is that like cannabis stuff? Am I missing the joke there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right. Let's put up the banner for the fan polls. So we had 3 polls this week. Jesus.
Pedos, because I think Tiffany Amber Thiessen's hot. You kidding me? It was a growing up crush.
All right.
That's stupid.
Hold on. Count on. All right. So we had some polls this week. Obviously, we had 3 of them. We're going to go over them. We're going to talk about them. But before we do that, like this video, subscribe to the channel, because every subscription makes Tiffany Amber Thiessen come back and do a little Kelly Kapowski cheerleader routine for Gary. Also, share it with your friends, because, that helps. So we did these polls 2 days ago. We got 119 votes. It was, who was the hottest chick on Saved by the Bell? We only had 5 choices because YouTube limits us to 5 choices, despite Dean being very upset that we did not include anyone from the college years.
Did you include? You didn't even include what was Tori Spelling's character?
No, we did not
include Screech's girlfriend. Yeah.
We only included Jessie, who was played by Elizabeth Berkley, Lisa, who was played by Lark Voorhees, Kelly, who was played by Tiffany Amber Thiessen, Tori was played by Leanna Creel, and Stacy, who was played by Leah Remini. Obviously, there were some other one-offs. Punky Brewster was on the show. Soleil Moon Frye, she wasn't included.
Who was the girl that played Stevie in the early ones? She was the one. She was the girl who was like kind of like Hannah Montana, where she was leading the double life. She was like Zach's best friend, but she was like the rock star, and she was Stevie. Can't remember her name. She was pretty foxy, but that was like the one where they were in middle school.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Gary.
Okay, guys, back me up, because so there was an episode where she's in one episode, and she was like the rock star, and she was coming to perform for the school, but she was like she was the rock star, but she wore like the wig, and nobody knew who she was. And then by the end of the episode, Zach finds out that Stevie, the big singer, was actually the blonde-headed chick. She was pretty. I can't remember her name. I don't think she was really a big actor, but she was only in for one episode.
That was Susanna Tara, and that was not Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't. That was Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
It was never called Good Morning, Miss Bliss, though. Okay, hold on. It was and it wasn't. They so they rebranded that. So when they showed reruns, it was monikered Saved by the Bell. Is that fair to say?
It's called Saved by the Bell, the junior high years.
I understand that. And I know the original pilot was Good Morning, Miss Bliss. I get that. But it was still like when you watched the reruns, it was still under Saved by the Bell. Whatever you want to call it.
The Saved by the Bell rerun package, yes.
Yes. We're both right and wrong a little bit.
But it is Good Morning, Miss Bliss is the actual name of the show. It was retooled into Saved by the Bell. That's why there's characters on this series that didn't make the jump to the new series, and there's some continuity errors between the two series. Mikey didn't show up. Nikki.
Gary.
Also, remember, the school is set. If you watch the show, I think the school is set in Indiana. And obviously, the school in Saved by the Bell is fucking Bayside, all the way on the other side of the fucking country in California.
Yeah, so it was, it was weird how they did that.
That's why it's actually 2 different shows. It's like 2 different universes. It's like a fucking Saved by the Bell variant. Remember Screech's Robot? Yeah, I remember. Saved by the Bell was not a terrible show. It was one of the best shows ever.
Dude, it was like, I watched that show religiously before I'd go to school.
It was an institution.
Didn't they try to bring it back?
They did
reboot it?
and she's
Yeah.
like the principal, like Jesse was the principal or something like that.
Something like that. But anyway, we have a poll here. We got to get to the poll. And,
We knew how this was gonna go.
and a shocking, just utterly shocking. Out of 119 votes, 61% voted incorrectly for Kelly, Tiffany Amber Thiessen. In a distant second, Jesse got 13% of the vote.
Was that all of your vote? Was that 13%?
No, you know who agreed with me? Vito agreed with me. Vito said that Jesse was the hottest one.
No, she ruined her. Like, she was pretty until like striptease ruined it for me. It made it worse.
56K1 says we should have done the college years. Well, we'll do the college years next. There's always more polls. There's always more opportunity to be misogynistic dude bros. Shocking third place was Stacy, played by Leah Remini, with 11% of the vote. Fourth place, Lisa, with 10% of the vote. And in a distant last was Tori, who was the tough chick. I think she was only on for like maybe half a season.
I hate that. That's the year where they're like, oh yeah, well, you like they tried to say that the other like that was the year that like Jesse wasn't in the show, right? And neither was Kelly, but they're trying to like pawn off that they were just they're there, but they're in different classes and you don't see them. No, they're not there. I'm not buying it.
You're not buying
Try
it?
to spin that crap. Those were good. There were some good episodes though with Tori. I mean, but I think that was what they were all shooting movies, and there were a lot of issues going on with that during that time.
Yeah, I don't know the behind the scenes workings. I just know that they were subpar episodes. I don't think.
Yeah, they weren't the best. No,
Even the Lisa, the Leah Remini rather, when they go off the summer episodes, those weren't that great.
Remember the boss? Remember the
So anyway, I think this was a very predictable. Everybody just loves Tiffany Amber Thiessen. That was everybody's first crush. Apparently, 1 Inch Bicep says Mr. Belding is a huge wrestling fan. I didn't know that.
he did. Wasn't he Beldor? Or was that the American Gladiators episode, Beldor?
I'm not sure.
Are they talking like in real life or just in the
I think he means
show?
in real life.
Oh, okay.
All right. So the next poll, I asked on the main Gabbing with Geeks show as well as the after party. We played quite a few games. Which do you want to see brought back as a permanent part of the after show? And this was surprising to me. We had 54 votes, 4 choices. In first place, people really liked What Product Is That? The Guess the Product by the Wacky Commercial Game. 46% of the votes.
And surprisingly, I found myself, I clicked that and said, as much as I like my butts and I like the celebrity butt challenge, I had fun doing the wacky commercials.
So the wacky commercials will be coming back, and with the Ethernet cable, we'll actually be able to see the commercials without all the stuttering. So that'll help. In second place, again, surprising, was Something New. I got 26% of the votes for Something New, but I don't think I got that many comments telling me what they wanted to see. So we'll go to the comments. Pac-Man Wah says, show 3 quotes, then ask which one Tommy didn't say. That's his suggestion. Albert Menendez says, which member of the Kermit crew has the biggest member? I guess that's his comment. I missed this one from Chappie. He says, who's the hardest? So that's his suggestion for the new game. Celebrity butt challenge only got 20% of the vote. I thought we were more into being objectifying women and stuff. And celebrity battles, which we only did once, only got 7% of the vote. So it looks like next week I got to get some commercials going, get them all set up, so we can play some What Product Is That on the after show. Maybe we'll have some prizes. Maybe we'll give away some Amazon gift cards. Maybe we'll just give away some of Gary's kids. You got a couple extra, right, Gary?
But for real, like, what's weird is the last week I've been seeing a lot of that like horse commercial on the beach with the was it the cologne commercial? I've seen that about like 100 times in the last week surfing YouTube.
I did not know that. I don't see commercials because I got
Yeah, you got the ad
Premium.
blocker or whatever.
premium, not ad blocker.
Well, whatever. But I've ever since we've seen that commercial, I've seen that like 100 times.
All right. And 6 days ago, with only 98 votes, very disappointed. That's all we got. It says, which type of content do you prefer? Videos, premieres, or live streams? Surprisingly, 53% of you said that you preferred the videos over the premieres, which are basically videos with live chats. I guess no one wants to chat live. Live streams only got 34% of the vote.
Well, I guess our job here is done, Tony.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you guys don't like the live streams.
Good night.
And then the premieres only got 13%, which, again, shocking. If you like the videos, I would assume you'd like the. I guess people want to play it on 2x speed. They don't want to have to sit there and wait because the premiere makes you watch the whole thing. You can't speed it up. So I guess that makes sense. So there you go. There were the 3 polls for the week. We will have 3 more polls coming up. I don't know what they are. I just kind of make them up as they go along. I think it was a pretty good show. I think it's a pretty tight show. What do you think, Gary? Think we did a good job this week?
Nah, terrible job. We did terrible job.
Ready for some after party?
I'm ready for the after party. Ready to start drinking.
Yeah. I will say that despite loving Saved by the Bell, I don't think that Tiffany Amber Thiessen was the hottest teen from that era. Do you remember a show called Unhappily Ever After, Gary?
It doesn't ring a bell.
It was a show about a married couple that they're going through a divorce. The dad lived in the basement. He ended up having a pet stuffed animal. It was like a rabbit, played by Bobcat Goldthwait. He would hear the rabbit speaking, but only he could hear it.
Yeah, it doesn't ring a bell.
You don't remember it aired from 1995 to 1999. Had 5 seasons.
I've probably seen it, but it doesn't ring a bell.
Nikki Cox was the daughter on the show. Very attractive redhead. She was probably the hottest from that era. Tommy Yumiko says he got a schlong like Mike Matei. I don't know what Mike Matei's schlong looks like, but Powder Toast Man's lying. He says none of them have big member. They have to lose weight to see their members. That's a lie. Nikki Cox. Tommy Yumiko knows what I'm talking about. Tommy Yumiko says, "Oh, Mike makeup is famously large. She's shown it. Look it up." I'm not gonna look up Mike Matei's junk. I'm sorry. It's just not. Doesn't interest me. But I will be giving the link to the after show Let me cue that up. I think this was solid. I know we struggle a little when there's only the two of us, and neither one of us are prepared or have watched any of the content.
Oh, I don't think we struggled. I think we did good, fairly well.
You think so? I think that's for
Yeah.
the audience to decide. Now, let me see. I am putting in the chat the link for the after show. And now I'm ending this. Thank you for watching. We will see you in a minute on the other stream. We do that to keep things easier to edit, and because the after show gets unlisted and privated, and the regular show just gets unlisted, and it makes Blinded Braille's job a lot easier. Thank you for watching, and as always, love, peace, booty grease. We out this bitch.